Yeah! You better sing your heart out like your life depends on it, because we watched the horror musical Stage Fright. We watched it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights, cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Greetings, Moon Goons, and welcome to the next episode of Horrible Horror. I am your host, Marshall Hampton. We watch the worst. No, I'm just talking. Can you imagine if I did that the whole time? Fuck that. Welcome, Moon Goons, to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me today is sitting in for my normal co-host, Aaron. Sarah Samples is back on the show.
Hello. I have big shoes to fill today. Oh my God. The pressure's on.
Actually, Aaron has surprisingly small feet, so I think you're all right.
Oh my gosh. Great. So you're saying we could share shoes? That's
No, I actually have no idea. I think he's
Aaron.
I think he's like a size 12 or 13
Oh,
or something like that.
no.
I don't know.
I'm daintier than that.
Yeah. Anyway, so today we went a little off book, off script, if you will, for our normal kind of movies we do here. I found this movie called Stage Fright. It's the 2014 version, not the 80s version, and this is a horror musical. Yes, right. You heard me correctly. It was released on DVD on April 3rd, 2014, after a very short, limited theatrical release. It was written by Jerome Sable and Eli Bartalian, I think it is, who is supposedly Eli also makes a cameo in the movie as Oleg Penderecki, but I have no idea who that character is in this movie. I couldn't find him. I don't remember anybody named Oleg. But according to IMDb, he is in the movie somewhere. It was also directed by Jerome Sable. If you still want to watch this movie, if you haven't already, you can find it on Amazon, iTunes, YouTube, Vudu, and Google Play. The cast, knocking that out. First of all, the two main people everybody's going to know is Minnie Driver. I always want to say Mimi for some reason. Minnie Driver.
So exciting.
Plays Kylie Swanson. She's not in it a whole lot, but she's in it. She's kind of like the driving force, kind of gets the whole thing going, and then she kind of,
You'll find out right away.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it right away.
And then we have the man, the legend himself, Mr. Meat Loaf.
Oh my God.
Who plays Roger McCall. And I find it funny, in this movie, he credits himself as Meat Loaf a Day.
Yeah,
Which is,
I read that too.
Like, Meat Loaf a Day?
I can't remember what his first actual name is. It's not Meat Loaf. It's like Meat Loaf Christopher a Day or something like that. But yeah, Meat Loaf a Day.
I've never heard that
before.
phrase. It's always just Meat Loaf.
Meat Loaf.
So, other than that, there are
So
a few other
exciting.
people in this movie that are kind of interesting to talk about. First off, we'll start with this is a hell of a last name for this girl, so bear with me. Her name is Steffi Demo. Oh shit! I was working on this name so hard.
No.
Trying Stephanie D. Cantanio. I don't. Anyway, she
Who
was.
did she play? Who?
Here, you can see this name at the
What
bottom.
is
See if you
that?
can do any better.
Oh my. Okay. Steffi D.
Yeah. See.
I'm pretty good at this too. Dominican Cantonio?
Yeah,
it's like Dominican Republican.
Antonio. Yeah, it's really crazy.
So sorry about that.
She plays Bethany, and again, this is one of these characters you don't really.
Which one's Bethany?
She.
Okay, we'll get into that.
We'll
get into that.
But the neat thing about her is she was a top 5 finalist on season 4 of Canadian Idol, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Oh yeah, they've got all the idols out there.
Yeah, and she toured the
yeah.
United States with the first Broadway national tour of Spring Awakening. She played Issel, I think and she performed the show 600 times in 44 different cities over 2 years.
Wow. Okay. So she has she has actual musical theater background. Whomever this
she
is.
You'll recognize her again. They never call her by name in the movie, but she's the girl with the short black hair. She's got like a big, like a mole or freckle
The
on her
one
face.
that's trying, the one that's the Chicago character.
I guess so.
She's the girl that emanates. Yeah, yeah.
And she always wears like the thigh highs with the guard.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
her.
Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what we'll call her. From
okay,
now.
Chicago. Okay. I was thinking cabaret
We'll
or
dub-
something. But,
Oh yeah, cabaret. Yeah, cabaret.
and then we
Better
have
than me.
Douglas Swanson. Sorry. Buddy
Excuse me.
Swanson is played by Douglas Smith. He's actually very recognizable. He's got 51 credits. He's probably most well known for his role as Ben Hendrickson on HBO's Big Love when that was going.
Yeah.
He was also in the just now released horror movie The Bye Bye Man, which I believe is in theaters now.
Oh.
He was also in Terminator Genesis, Ouija, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters, and this is his second appearance here on Horrible Horror as he starred as Nicholas Yulson in the Goldberg Christmas movie Santa's Sleigh.
Oh my! I was here for Santa's sleigh.
No, you were here for Christmas Sleigh. That's the British one.
Okay.
That was
okay.
that really, really bad British
Sorry,
one.
everybody. That was
Yeah.
probably the worst movie
No,
I've ever
Santa's
seen.
Sleigh was Bill Goldberg.
Oof.
And
Oof.
lastly, we were talking about the star of the show movie. Ally McDonald plays Camilla Swanson. She's got 32 credits. She's in the TV series Orphan Black, Killjoys, Longmire, Lost Girl, Haven. And she was also in the, I guess you call it horror/thriller movie, The House at the End of the Street with Jennifer Lawrence that came out a
Yeah.
few years ago.
You know what's really crazy too? I thought, not looking up her information at first, but just seeing her, I thought she was the same actress as the 50 Shades of Grey.
I did that too. I was like, oh my God. I looked up like, this has got to be that girl
That's
from
the
50 Shades.
same girl.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's totally. It's
But
her
it looks-
doppelganger.
Yeah, it could be like her
It
sister.
could
for
be
all I
her.
know.
Yeah. Oh my
I
god.
thought the same thing. I was
Okay.
Like, is this 50 Shades shit going
I
on?
know.
So it's not. Though.
I was disappointed. Boo.
I was too. Boo. But she does a really good job in this movie, actually.
She does. Yeah.
Now, before we actually jump into the movie proper itself, I have to put a little disclaimer out here for
Yeah.
everybody. This movie is not for everyone. It's a very like niche target market audience that they were going
Yeah.
for with this movie.
Well, it's definitely so. Jerome, what's the last name?
Sable or
Jerome Sable.
Yeah.
I was reading. He is known for these mashup style movies, and so this is like his forte. And so it's a mashup, and I think that, not to give any spoilers about how I feel about it, but he, for what it is, he did a good job, I think, of balancing musical / kind of horror gory thing.
I will agree with you on that.
/ spoof, because it's also supposed to be like a dark comedy. It is.
It's a weird mix mash of genres.
It
and
is. I don't know whether to laugh. There's things that are funny.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
things
it's
that are not
certainly
funny.
it's certainly not for everyone. Some people will
Lots
not
of
get it.
music.
Some people will absolutely hate it. But
So much music.
so with that read,
Get ready.
the show opened.
I'm gonna sing a lot.
It opens with a disclaimer on the screen that
love
says
this.
the following is based on true events. While the names have been changed to respect the victims and their families, the musical numbers will be performed exactly as they occurred, which I thought was kind of funny.
So from the top, it's cheeky. It's
Yeah.
a little cheeky,
Yeah,
and
you
I
know
think
you're
that's
like,
funny.
what?
Yeah, I think that's good, and so it kind of sets me up for some jokes.
Yes.
Jokes.
So now the movie proper starts, and we fade on this man in like an old style tuxedo, and basically he just gets stabbed right away by another man in a smooth, like perfectly smooth white mask with black robes and a hood.
That totally got me.
Did it really?
Yes. Like I was sitting there watching, I was like, "Oh, this isn't good. He's gonna. Oh, he dies. Oh." And I was like, okay, "Sorry, it got me. Got me."
Love it. So now in runs a mini driver, and the first line of this whole movie is sung. She's like, "No, I can't sing, so you're gonna really hate me after this." But
So
she
good.
just starts singing right off the bat, and the camera pulls out to show us that this is like the closing moments of the copyright-friendly and non-trademark infringing musical, "The Haunting of the Opera."
Haunting of the opera. The haunting.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
now we see these two kids, a brother and sister, backstage watching their mom, Minnie Driver, perform.
Mm-hmm.
As the stage manager goes on about how great and wonderful she is and all
She's
this
gonna be a
stuff.
star,
Yeah.
kids.
And the show ends, and we go to Minnie's dressing room. The kids enter, hugs, kisses, blah blah blah.
Mommy.
Yeah, the
you're
daughter.
beautiful.
The
Sorry.
daughter asks the mother, Minnie, for her autograph, which I guess is kind of sweet and weird, but it's like,
Well,
your mom,
yeah.
like, you don't really need an autograph. She's her
I
mom.
don't know. I thought I bought it. It
Okay.
was, yeah, okay.
So Minnie pulls out one of like her black and white headshots and signs it, and she signs it with like a personalization that says, "All of life's a song to sing, so sing with all your heart, love, mom," or something like that. Which that line gets repeated and reused over and over throughout the movie. It's kind of like motivation for the daughter. It's like their thing.
I'm gonna sing it once. All of life's a song to sing, so sing with all your heart. It will
Very
never
well.
leave your head. It will
It
never,
would-
because
I will say the
seriously, I've been
music
singing
gets stuck in my
it.
head. So much of music is just
Oh my
this movie
God,
gets stuck in my
so
head.
catchy.
Like the last 3 days, I've had just like these same tunes stuck in my
Shit,
head.
Yes.
So in comes the Meat
You're
Loaf.
welcome.
You're welcome for that one. In comes Meat Loaf, who at this point seems to be like, right off the bat, he's like tuxedo. He's like the producer.
He's the
one
producer.
And he
The
tells her that this guy,
producer.
Lawrence Gibbs, he showed up tonight and he's absolutely in love with her. And we're
Yeah.
kind of the way this conversation goes is we're led to believe that Gibbs is like a reporter, somebody from like New York Times.
Yeah.
And Meat Loaf takes the kids out so Minnie can finish getting changed and whatnot. Whatever, doesn't
Do you
matter.
want me to take the twins? I don't know. I don't know if I'd let Meat Loaf take my kids, but whatever.
So now the daughter is out on the stage. The theater's empty. She's on the stage by herself. And we see the man in the smooth white mask watching her, but he just quickly ducks away. And back in the dressing room, Minnie's wearing some now like sexy white bra and panties and a silk robe. And the lights go out. But she just like flips them right back on, no big deal. And when the lights come back on, standing behind her is a man in the like opera ghost costume that we've seen from the play.
Exactly.
We just saw.
Yes.
So after the initial scare, Minnie starts talking like she knows who this guy is. She's like, she tells him to come out, tells him to come out for the mask back. He can't be in here. Get out, take the mask off. But she's doing like in a playful way.
Yeah.
And
He's definitely turning her on.
Yeah.
He's like up against her. He's starting to rub up
his
against
chest
her.
and her back.
Yeah.
And, so he wraps his arms around her and her body, and it's clear, that this is obviously like her lover man or something like that. And Minnie is like
sneaky. Something's
she's
going down.
loving the way he's touching her, but she tries to resist by telling him that she has to get dressed. She can't. The man pulls her closer and firms up his grips, which just turns Minnie on even more.
Yeah,
she starts
right.
moaning like, "Not now!" And the man then pulls out a large knife from under his black robes, raises it up high.
Oh,
she
Lordy.
sees it in the mirror.
Oh.
She turns to scream, but as soon as she screams, wham! The man just stabs her right in the throat,
Bam,
like
right
where
in
the
the
Adam's
throat.
apple would be in a man.
Now, seriously, that is a singer's worst nightmare.
Like I love it.
Don't
That would be
say-
like if you're gonna kill
I
a
know.
singer, that's what you just right in the throat. Right
Oh,
in the vocal
right
cords.
in the throat. And then he just, God.
Obviously her
yes.
screams go silent, and he just stabs it like repeatedly
Over
into the throat.
and over.
And meanwhile, on stage, the daughter's like singing that "All of Life" song to sing, blah blah blah. That
Yeah.
line, and she's like spinning around in circles and dancing. And the film goes back and forth between her on stage dancing and then Minnie just getting brutally murdered.
Oh my God.
And she finally drops dead, and with the knife sticking out of her mouth.
Oh man, yeah. So he like stabs her over and over again. You see this blood spray, and
it's
I think
spraying
it's
everywhere.
it's really well done. Like this blood spraying on his face, and
The
and
white
it-
mask with the red
Yes, the
contrast and
white-
the white roses with the blood. I mean, it looks great.
it's great. And he's just and then he just like sticks it in her mouth, and then bounces her head right off of the mirror.
Yeah, the big changing mirror.
And she goes down, and you see it all. I mean, like they show it all, and I think it looks
It's a pretty intense
pretty-
kill. It's pretty.
Yeah.
You can tell there's a lot of hate in that kill.
brutal, brutal.
So now we jump ahead 10 years later,
Mm-hmm.
and the daughter, now in her late teens, she's waking up in bed all sweaty.
So how old was she when she went? I don't want to come up with a problem already, but like
I know
seriously, how old?
I have issues with the age.
I was like,
thing here.
that's only 10 years later. How old is this girl?
My guess
I
was she
just
was
old?
17, 18.
Wow.
So at least the character's supposed.
Right, they're
supposed
supposed
to
to be. Yeah, okay.
So
It's the time frame.
yeah, I agree. There's not a whole lot of weird loopholes, but
No, there's
that's
not.
some here.
They did a pretty good job.
I will say that they did a good job of that. So now we see the school bus driving down a rural road, filled with kids of all ages. One kid stands up and blows into like a tuning harmonica, and then all at once, everybody on the bus just breaks out into song.
We're here.
We're here.
We're finally here. I'm so sorry, guys, but this music
It's gonna happen.
is so catchy.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, it's catchy. And the bus.
I've been waiting to sing in this music.
The bus arrives at the Center Stage Performing Arts Camp. And this song is a mixture of like a camp welcome song.
Yeah.
Like all the kids telling tales of being bullied for being musical theater gigs throughout the year. But here and now is the one time of the year where they can be themselves and
Be
everything's
ourselves.
great. And the song then takes kind of a different turn when the character named Sam leaps up onto like this raised platform and goes into his I'm gay, but not in that
But
way
not
song.
in that way.
Now Sam is played by Ephilram Ellis.
Wow.
Who might be known in Canada a bit more because he was in a few different versions of the Canadian hit show Degrassi, which is a huge thing up in Canada.
Oh, I kind of like Degrassi.
So he was
I'm
like,
not
I
gonna
forget
lie.
like a couple of different not like
There were
like,
different-
if he had like Saved by the Bell like the Hawaiian years or Saved
Oh,
by the
yeah.
Bell this year. Like, he was in one of those like not the
Spin-offs of
original
it? Okay.
Degrassi,
Okay.
the Next Generation or
Okay.
something else like that.
Still liked it. I
But
did.
like because you have to hear the song, it is funny.
Oh man, yes.
I actually have recorded this clip
It-
of
well-
this line of this Gabe singing
I'm
part
so-
because it's pretty good.
I'm so glad you did this because this musical piece goes on forever.
Yeah.
It's just a really long.
Yeah, it feels like it's like a 5-minute musical
Yeah,
number.
it takes up a good. So,
But
yes.
we're not playing the whole 5 minutes. I'm just playing this clip
is
of the
great.
I'm gay bit and what follows it because it's worth hearing. So enjoy this.
Yes.
And a slew of other low blows.
All of us have heard these names of hate, but let me get one thing straight. I'm gay, but not in that way. Musicals move me and touch me in ways I can't say.
He's gay, but not in that way.
I sleep with women, but musicals make me feel gay.
I'm gay, I'm actually gay. I don't get hard when I see TNA. Could be my DNA or how I was raised.
We don't distinguish here at Center Stage. We're all gay in all kinds of ways.
Some in the bedroom
And some cause of musical plays.
I am so glad you played that.
I can't help it. Like that like verse or line is just it's funny. I find it very funny.
The best part about it is that you and I sang along to the whole thing,
Yeah.
meaning that it's so catchy.
It
It's so.
does. I
the
hate
music-
to say it, but it is. It gets stuck in your head.
The music was pretty well done in this whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, because what was the show, the movie that we watched with the chicken and the
Poultry
Guys? So Poultry Guys, that was one of my first shows here.
Yeah.
And like that was a musical. This is way
I think it was your first show.
It was my first. That's right. Oh God, I can't believe. Okay, ugh. That was my first show. We've come a long way, folks.
Basically from where that clip ends, the campers
Yes.
sing their way into like the mess hall where we find Camilla, the daughter who's all grown now, working in the kitchen, and she's singing the same "All Life's a Song to Sing"
Mm-hmm.
to herself. And while she's looking at the autographed headshot of her mother, that hangs in like the inside of like a metal food pantry closet or something like
Yeah,
that.
what is that? Is that
At first
like
I thought it was a lock, but like nope, that's something like a
I was
looks
like,
like a freezer.
is
but
that
it's not.
the freezer? Like,
It's not a
is that
freezer because it's like
sanitary?
like bags like corn and
But there's
and
food in there.
Yeah, I think it's like a pantry though. It's not like something that has to be refrigerated. I think it's
Okay.
just a pantry.
Like Sterling, like
It's just an
okay,
industrial
just
pantry.
Industrial. There you
Yeah,
go.
I don't think it's refrigerated or.
All right. I hope that's weird. Okay.
So in comes her brother Buddy, who says, "Okay, Little Mermaid, a little less singing,
Yeah.
more working." And Buddy
It's kinda
goes on.
crabby.
Yeah, he goes on to say that it's time to feed the freaks, and they can't wait to get out of here for good.
Yeah, he
so
does not
Buddy
like
does
being
not
there.
like being at this camp, and he teases Camilla a bit more. And she gives him a little push, and this causes him a large can of tomato sauce to get spilled, which he quickly starts to clean up.
Yeah.
Now, that you would think that's a minor thing, but it does. There's a callback to it at the very end of the movie that it kind of comes.
Okay.
It kind of comes full circle. So
But even so, it's really weird what happens now. Like it's just I
yeah,
don't know. It's
in comes Meat Loaf,
So
Meatloaf
creepy, though.
enters.
So
He just
creepy.
come on in. And Meatloaf just has like this
He's
creepy like little mustache too, like this.
Oh,
it's
he looks like a hacked up producer.
He
He
does.
does.
He
He
did-
just looks like a
perfect
hacked up
hacked up
producer.
yeah.
Yeah, he looks older than he did in the first scenes when we saw him.
Well, it's
He
10
looks
years
aged.
later. It's
Yeah, well,
supposed to be.
obviously, but he just has a creepy air about him.
he does.
What does he say? He's like, "What's going on here?" Or
Yeah, he's like, what? Yeah, he's like, what's going on in here or something. And basically,
like
he,
they were smoking drugs or something. He spilled some tomato sauce.
which Meatloaf doesn't like this.
No, he
he
hates
takes
it.
over the cleaning up of the sauce, and he's like, buddy, like, did you make this mess or something like that?
Is he
And
abusive?
And at
What's
this
going
point,
on?
you can tell, like, when he asks those siblings, like, did you make this mess? You can tell there's like an aura of like kind of fear, timidness about these two and how
Yeah.
they interact with Meatloaf.
Yeah.
They get real timid around him, but Camilla.
Camilla?
I can't even talk. Camilla. thank
Okay.
you, change the subject by asking Meatloaf what the show is going to be this year. What's the big
Right, what's the
camp
big show?
showcase going to be? And he just says it's going to be a knockout and that Broadway agents and scouts will be coming and that they're going to be back in New York before they know it. And she tries to ask again what it is, and he just says, your mother would be proud. So Camilla, she gives up, and she just kind of goes and, ties up his collar, primps him a bit, and tells him he's good, go break a leg.
Break a leg.
He turns and exits and
Theater
enters the
talk.
mess hall and addresses the campers in song.
Of
So,
course he does.
Of course he does.
It's just
Meatloaf.
a continuation of the previous.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
the show must go on. It's
It's
and,
this. He's pumping him up.
yeah, and we learned that the song that he opened his camp 10 years ago. So he basically opened the camp immediately after the murder was what happened.
Yeah, when does a Broadway producer decide to take over like a hacked up camp?
Yeah.
And
Well, here, I guess we can go into it now. My theory is that he was the producer of, that play
that
where
play, and he was trying to
Mimi
make it.
got, that was his big thing. But when the star gets murdered, it causes bad press. The show gets shut down.
Yeah.
So he
you lose all your money.
loses there. So
Yeah.
he's using this as his way for hopefully to get discovered again
To
or to
get
find
back up there.
find the next big star to take with it to piggyback off onto
Ah.
Broadway. That's my theory of
That's
what's
a good.
going on.
I think that's a very good theory. Yeah.
So during the song, Camilla and Buddy quietly enter the mess hall and just watch what's going on. And she locks eyes with this one particular camper, this dark-haired, kind of creepy-looking guy.
Yeah.
And the mess hall is,
Or mysterious, whatever you think, ladies.
yeah. Now, not everybody will pick up on these. I'm sure Sarah did. I did.
Oh my
But the
God.
mess halls are lined with copyright-friendly
Yes.
posters of past musicals, such as Arkansas
Uh-huh.
and Les Producerables. Les Producerables.
That was my favorite one. They were
Which is a
so
combination
good.
of the producers and Les
And Les
Mis.
Mis.
So you get a 2 for 1 of that one.
Which are both great musicals, but by themselves.
I refuse to ever see Les Mis. I don't want to sit around for like 3-4 hours and just be depressed.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Look at how good it is. After the song, he introduces Artie Getz, which is this year's director.
Artie.
Now, Artie looks like a poor man's Jason Biggs. And
Yes.
hell, I even thought at first glance
Oh.
it was Jason Biggs.
Oh, wow. That's a good pickup.
And I'm pretty sure they could have gotten Jason Biggs. I don't think he's doing much else right now.
Probably not.
And honestly, isn't Jason Biggs kind of the poor man's Jason Biggs?
Oh, Jason Big. But yes, he is.
You pie fucker, I love you. So
Yeah, what else does that dude do? I mean,
he did like that Silver
Orange
Rings.
is what?
Yeah, he did like the
Orange-
first season of Orange is the New Black, then he kind of disappeared.
I hate
That's
that
the most
guy.
recent thing.
I kind of hate him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. A lot of people like him. I just.
I don't know that gives him. He just kind of fell off like after American Pie. He just disappeared.
Exactly. Well,
I mean,
typecast.
so
Pie fucker.
yeah, Pie. Well, he'll always be remembered in history, though. At least he'll be
Right.
immortalized for something. He already leaves up on the table, and to announce this year's musical will be The Haunting of the Opera.
The Haunting of the Opera.
And the campers applaud. Camilla's face goes white as Meatloaf turns to look at her with this kind of like, yeah. Suck it,
what do
bitch.
you think?
Yeah, what do you think
What
of that?
the fuck is that about? He was supposed to like love.
Yeah,
What was her? Minnie Driver. He was supposed to be in love with Minnie Driver. Isn't
Yeah.
he? He's like loved her. He was her producer, and like he's all, yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
What is that?
So Buddy storms back in the
He's an
kitchen. He's kind of
asshole.
pissed off. Back in the kitchen, Camilla and Buddy, they're talking about this big reveal, the big, And she's trying to put a good spin on it, saying that, well, if Meat Loaf thinks this can help him get back in New York, that's good for all of us.
Maybe we can get back there.
Yeah, it's good for all of us. Buddy, however, is like not happy about this at all. And he brings up the fact that Meat Loaf is not their father and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, why did he take... I never understood
That's
that.
one of my questions. Like, why did he end up taking the kids? Like, aren't there grandparents and aunt and uncle, family? Like, why is, like, the producer just taking the kids?
I know. That seems real weird. Like, anybody volunteer? Anybody want these kids? Anybody? I'll dig them. What? Take them to camp. Make them work. Make them work in the kitchen. Because that's what
free child labor. I got an 11-year-old working in the kitchen.
You guys have to work in the kitchen. Sorry.
So
that's it.
Camilla timidly mentions that maybe she can even audition for this show.
Oh yeah.
And again, Buddy rips on the campers, asking Camilla if she really wants to compete with those freaks, and they're not normal. And there's no way that they'll ever let her steal part from a camper who pays to go here.
By the way, that's like half the people I went to college with. Like all those people, like the whole first scene, I was like, I can totally relate to this. Yep. These are my people.
In the mess hall, Artie is still addressing the campers. He tells them that he will be playing the lead role of Alfonso. Alfonso. And that in his version, the play will take place in feudal Japan. After the big announcement, the campers break out into a "We're here" song again. So they bring it back. While in the kitchen, Camilla she sings her own version to like the picture of her mother.
Right.
And so these two songs kind of merge into one. And after the song and dance number, it goes into like the slow motion and fades into like this dark basement where on the wall are all the headshots of the campers.
Yeah, I like the creepy wall.
Yeah, the creep wall. I liked it too. The murder wall, I guess.
The murder wall. Yes. Even better.
And so this man in black is seen entering the room, and the music takes a dramatic turn from like the happy, upbeat musical theater style to like a dark and sinister kind of undertones here. Mm-hmm. And he starts slashing across the wall of headshots with like this custom-made, like round circular blade that's made from like a circular saw or buzzsaw blade.
Yeah, it looks kind of like it looks like like you just said, like a circular blade. And it's like a real, like it's getting heavier metal. Yeah. Like you can tell that the killer's theme is the metal. Yeah. He is the metal theme. Yeah.
And he's like, saying like shut your fucking face, and he's angry.
I hate you. Yeah. he hates this shit. He hates where he is.
He does.
He's in musical hell.
So we cut to the big auditions, and the cameras are lined up outside the theater, like all the way around, lining the building, waiting for their turn to audition. Camilla walks up. She walks past the line of campers. And we hear each one like warming up and doing vocal.
I've been in that line too. I've been that person. I've been in the line. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh God, you're that girl later in the movie. I know. I hate those girls.
Oh man, I was gonna. Okay. Yeah, I was so relate to all that.
So she goes up to the front line and sign up, and sitting at the sign up table is that dark-haired, like creepy guy we saw in the mess hall earlier. She signed up to audition for the lead of Sophia, and writes in that she's in bunk 23, and then takes the long walk to the end of the line, where again she bumps into the creepy guy right there.
Somehow meets up with her.
Which I gotta say, I love her reaction to seeing him here, because she managed in this one facial expression, she managed to show confusion and like what the hell? How did you get here so fast? But without being over the top.
Exactly.
And to me, it's like one of the best, if not the best, facial expressions in the whole movie. Like it's so perfectly like subtle, but yet it conveys everything. Like, and I think it's a nod to, like horror movies, like now people seem to teleport so quickly in horror movies, and she's like, what the
hell did you do that? Yeah, that is one of the things, just like one of the themes of this movie is that there's comedy in it, but it's really subtle.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of things I did not catch the first time. And when I went back and watched it a second time and maybe some parts a third time, I caught things like that. Like I didn't catch her facial expression at first, but then the second time I watched it, yeah, she's very confused. And then she changes it, but like what? And but
I love it.
But he's kind of creepy, but also she's caught.
Yeah, he's caught because he confronts her about being bunk 23, and he's like, "Listen, I know you're the cook. I've seen you around." He's like, I can't let you audition because I'll get you in trouble. I just can't do it. Cam pleads with him, tell him that she'll say she snuck in without anyone noticing. Mm-hmm. And here we learned this guy's name is Joel. So creepy guy is Joel.
Where are the rest of the camp counselors? Side note.
I don't know if there are any actual counselors. Like all the campers, like
They just take care of themselves?
Yeah, that seems to be it. Like
Well,
the only 2 staff members seem to be Camilla and Buddy, and then Meat Loaf.
Well, so then Joel, like, do the older campers just, because there are some, it's like a wide range. There's like
it's
some
like
older
grade
teenagers.
school up to high school.
Yeah.
But like 90% of them are like grade school to junior high level.
But they talk about like signing up for classes. It's time to sign up for
Yeah,
class.
that's in the
It's time
song,
to
but there's never any instructors.
No,
it's
they're
just
never.
like you have like the lighting guy and the costume girl, but they're not teaching. They're
Nobody's
the
being
camper.
taught. Yeah, they're
like,
a camper.
Yeah.
It's like they just know. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's
There's-
like that's a good point. I even thinking about till you brought up. Like, yeah, there's like no counselors or instructors at this camp at all.
No. But Joel is
It's basically again Meat Loaf saying, "Hey, let me get some free labor to put on a show that I don't have to pay anybody to do."
exactly. We'll put these like young kids in charge of this, and
Yeah.
it's all volunteer.
And if it sucks, I can blame the kids because they're kids. And if it's great, I can take all the credit for
I
it.
guess
It's
real.
So
That's
Cam's
nonprofit
like, hey,
arts for you,
yeah.
folks.
Cam's like, "Hey, if you do this for me, I owe you one." And she's like, he gives in.
Yeah.
Now we cut to the redheaded Liz Silver exiting her audition
Oh, Liz.
with the stage manager David.
Yeah.
Now David is the guy from the opening song that clip that I'm gay, I'm actually gay.
He's actually gay.
That's
yeah,
David.
he's stage manager,
So
which is
and
perfect.
Liz Silver is kind of like this the prima donna of the camper. She's the girl who's like always used to getting the leading
Yeah,
roles
she
and
always
like
gets
being the big
lead.
shot.
Mm-hmm.
So Joel tells David that there's one last audition, lets Cam go in, and not happy about this is Liz as she storms off down the stairs. On the stage, Cam sings a song, and even though the words are different, the music sounds exactly like the Angel of Music song from Family Opera. At least like the opening bars.
It
Like there's
totally
so
does.
many like
It's
one
almost
fraction of we stopped at the last possible point before it becomes
It's like
trademark
they knew.
infringement.
It's like they knew exactly where the line was,
Yeah.
and they went right up to the line,
Yeah,
and then
they
that was
stopped.
it. And
Yeah.
then they changed the key,
And they do
or
it-
like
they
went
do
off
it
to
several
a different.
times
Oh
throughout the
yeah,
movie.
it's good though.
It is good. So basically she sings angel music, or their
Basically,
version of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And of course Artie is mesmerized by Cam, while backstage Joel sings about his love for Cam, even though like,
So
he
much
just
music.
met her.
Yeah.
And he sings about how he's been watching her from a distance and how he mustn't lose her, and that he will somehow make her his, and like real creepy stuff here.
And he's like climbing up. You can tell he's also like the lighting
He's
backstage
the light guy. He's the
Yeah,
light guy. He's
yeah.
always up in the rafters hanging lights and doing stuff with
Yeah.
lights. He's the light guy. So while we see Joel watching Cam from up in like the lighting catwalk as she hits the big finale of the play's main song, "Forever Haunted."
Yeah.
And Liz comes storming in after it, followed by Meat Loaf and Riz.
She's totally told on her.
Yeah, so
she
Liz
just told on her.
ratted her out, and Meat Loaf tells Cam that she has to go because dinner's at 5, so
Right.
you better get to work.
You're a cook. You're
Yeah.
just a cook.
Yeah, pretty much. But Meat Loaf
Get in the
goes on
kitchen.
to remind Cam that the camp policy about staff not being allowed to be involved.
Right.
She begs and pleads and is like citing that her mother would be so proud of her for taking on the role that she made famous.
Yeah, she's slightly manipulative. I mean, she
Yeah.
kind of knows what she's doing.
She
ain't no dummy.
She knows how to pull the strings
She's
when
not a
needs to
dummy.
be.
Yeah,
It's not the
yeah.
first. This is the last time she does it.
Yep.
So Meat caves in and says that he will allow the audition, but Cam is to be treated like every other camper to honor the process.
Yeah, there's a process. Did you also? I loved how the whole interaction between he and Artie, like when he walks in and this whole thing is going on, Artie is like, hey, didn't you tell me that I get all of the artistic direct, creative and whatever. And like the whole time he's saying that, Meat Loaf is shushing him like a baby, like not just like, hey, shut up, like he's like, shh, no, shh, it's okay, it's okay. And I'm like, what what is happening right now? He's got a baby. I mean,
So
you can do it. I'll allow it.
Yeah, he's like, I'll allow the audition.
Your mother's role? That's exactly what you wanted.
So Liz, again, still not happy. She storms out, pissed off, as Artie gives Cam a little wink. So we cut to Cam outside, crying like happy tears or something like that, as this creepy old camp caretaker watches
Who is
on
that?
trimming bushes.
He's like the only other guy. Like,
He's the only other adult in the.
But we never know. Like, we don't know who he is, though.
He's just a caretaker.
Like,
He goes
he's
around.
just a
He's
guy.
like the janitor, caretaker.
He's always trimming
groundskeeper.
bushes with like these giant hedge trimmers.
Yeah.
Whoosh, whoosh. Throwing away trash.
Yeah. So we go to the next morning. All the campers are gathered around, eagerly awaiting the post on the cast list.
Yeah.
Which I remember those days, and it sucks.
Yep.
Finally, the cast list hung for all to see, and a hush falls over the crowd as Cam approaches. And she looks at the list and finds that she has been cast as the lead role, Sophia, but so has Liz Silver.
Yeah.
They're going to be sharing the role. And the
What
opera
a
ghost.
diss.
Yeah, the opera ghost is going to be played by Sam. And Cam turns and walks away. All the campers still in silence, watch her leave.
Mhm.
Be like, oh my God, that's her, and blah, blah.
They're a fan. I tell you what, gossipy, jealous theater bitches.
Oh,
I'm
I
sorry.
know.
It's
so
for real.
bad. Yep,
oh,
it's
it's
a real
so
thing.
clicky.
So clicky.
Until you get, until you get on the next show, and it's somebody else. And
So we
never
join up
people.
with Cam, meeting up with Buddy, who is not thrilled about Cam being cast. Because also, one, it means more work for him in the kitchen to make
Yeah.
up for her not being there. And since there's only 2 cooks, only 2 people that work this entire camp anyway, it's basically now him doing everything.
he's constantly getting screwed.
He
I feel
is getting
like. Poor
screwed.
guy, buddy.
Back in the group of campers, one of the older high school girls tells the group about how Roger, a.k.a. Meat Loaf, took Cam and her brother in after their mother was killed. And then gay David chimes in that their mother, Kylie, slept with so many people on
Oh,
Broadway
yeah.
that she was called the Great White
The Great
Lay.
White Lay.
Yep.
For the. Oh, God.
So Buddy and Cam then enter the kitchen, put on their aprons, so then start getting their meals ready.
Yep.
When they notice that the pantry door is open and the picture of their mother has been vandalized with a giant red X painted through her face and through the
yeah.
picture.
Camilla freaks out.
Oh, she
Yeah.
does. She flips out. She runs over there, frantically trying to rub and remove the red X, but doing so, she accidentally rips the picture. And I guess in this moment of like hopelessness, she completely rips the picture all the way, but she's able to keep like the upper third part, which is like the part that actually
the
has
song, yeah, it's
has
the part
like
that has that.
the autograph on, and
Yeah.
like most of her mother's head,
Her face, yeah. Do you notice that Buddy does not seem as upset about his mother's death the whole time? He's just kind of like, whatever. And she's obviously like still very affected by it. And she's trying to find who she is and all.
I guess
but he's
maybe
like,
he's
whatever.
upset that mom never gave him an autograph or something.
Whatever,
I don't know.
Mom.
But
You're dead.
Yeah.
She's freaking out, and he's like, eh.
So we go back to the dark basement where the man in black picks up a guitar while
Ooh,
snarling
yeah.
and wiping what looks like blood across the wall of headshots.
Totally creepy
And
again.
he's singing like, "You people make me sick," and he's like just rocking out.
Uh-huh.
And it's a very short scene.
Yeah, and can I just say though, like it was really, really cool, and I was really into it until he picked up the guitar. Yeah, so then he picks up this guitar, and I'm like, what? And he, so all of a sudden he starts to get a little bit cartoony. Did you notice that? Like it kind of gets a little, his image gets a little bit more rock opera-ish, like.
Well, this scene, I not so much because like they show him picking up the guitar. But they never, at this point, they don't show him playing it or doing anything with it. You just see him pick it up, and then he's like, wipes blood on the wall and says, "You people make me sick," and that's the end of the scene. So he's not really doing anything with the guitar yet.
I don't know. I just felt, something weird happened there, and to me, I was like, I went up and down with this movie where I was like, this is really creepy, and then I was like, this is stupid, and then I was like, oh God, this is really horrible again. Just like the theater, it was a roller coaster of an emotions for me.
Life imitates art.
I guess
art
that's
imitates
exactly it.
life.
That's right.
So we
Getting
go to,
deep today.
Yeah, we are. So we go to Meat Loaf's office where he's making these phone calls to all these Broadway agents and scouts, but he never gets past receptionists who keep telling him like, "Oh, they'll have to return your call later," and he never gets through to anyone.
I love. She goes. Showcase of the what?
Did you say camp? He's like,
Camp.
yeah, camp. Like, yeah, he'll
You'll have to
return
call
your
you
call.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
click. So
Poor guy.
while he's making these calls, we see him looking through all this stack of bills that he's all behind on and all this stuff. So we're just, kind of giving backstory there that he's in debt. So now we jump to the first rehearsal.
Maybe that's why there's no counselors there.
He can't afford them.
Yeah.
Again, like boasting my theory that he just get free labor from the campers.
Right,
Do it
whatever.
all. Now we go to
working
the
out.
first rehearsal, which is shortest rehearsal I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
Because here's basically the entire rehearsal. Cam walks in, she's handed her script, joins like the others as David introduces himself as a stage manager, and he'll do
Which is
whatever it
amazing.
takes to make the show go on, except for getting on stage because he has stage fright.
Stage fright.
Up next is Artie, who makes his still pretentious entrance.
Oh God.
And he's wearing like this leather like fedora thing this whole time, or weird hat. I'm sure it's not an actual fedora, but it's some weird hat.
It's
he
one of
wears.
those things that young guys do to try to make themselves look like older and more distinguished.
Yeah.
It's like, like young guys smoking a pipe, or, like I'm like
I
wearing
was
a
a-
beret. Oh God, did I just mess you up?
I'm crushed. Like I smoked a pipe for years.
Yeah, but did you do it to look cool in front of chicks?
No.
Okay, well then that's different.
No, I'm not a hipster. I
No,
didn't do
okay.
it ironically.
Okay.
Um,
See, we're saved. I'm saved. Jeez.
and the only time I ever wore a beret was in the army. So
Well
I
then
get a pass on that one.
that's different. That's manly.
So
Anyway, he wears a stupid
this
douchey
really
hat.
stupid douchey hat. And again, he reminds me that the show takes place in feudal Japan and will be done with the kabuki style makeup.
I love the joke. He's like, so what would be a style of Japanese
yeah.
theater? And Sam's
No,
like,
no, like, what's like where they cover their faces in white.
yeah, and he goes, bukkake.
Yeah.
Kabuki. I just it's again another subtle joke that I just
Yeah,
said.
no, that was a good one.
Bukkake.
I didn't write that down because I was like, I'm pretty sure Sarah will remember to say that. So and you
Bukkake.
did.
You know me. You know me
Yeah.
well.
So Whitney, the costume girl, brings out something covered in a cloth.
Yeah.
Artie rips the cloth off to reveal it's their version of the opera ghost mask, which really reminds me of like Sting's face paint when he became like
Yes.
Crow Sting.
Yes.
Like it's very Crow Sting-esque, and only this mask has like a top knot, samurai like top knot attached to it type thing.
It yes. Yeah, I can't say, I want to say more, but I'm afraid to say anything now about this because I don't want to describe something that's going to happen in the future.
Okay.
So, but
All right.
what I don't understand is how is she not tripping out when she's like Cam? How is Cam not having like some serious PTSD right now, sitting there on the stage when they reveal the mask? It's very dramatic and
It's
intense.
very dramatic. I guess the only thing that maybe, I mean, if we're gonna try to think realistic about this, is that the mask is so vastly different than the original one she saw as a
I
kid
guess,
that it
yeah.
doesn't relate a whole lot.
I'd be tripping.
So the cast claps, applause for this, and Cam notices that Liz has red paints on her hands. Oh, that snivy, that shady bitch.
Oh.
And then the cast is just dismissed.
Insecurity.
So
Yeah.
that's the entire first rehearsal.
Artie's like,
here's
"See
your
ya."
script. Here's the mask. Out of here. Oh, by the way, be off book by Thursday.
By Thursday. Good luck.
Yeah.
Let's not. No. Yeah. There's no blocking.
No
There's
blocking.
No
Not even a read through.
What?
Nothing.
That's normally what happens. I just
First
forget.
rehearsal is normally always like
You
a
read
read
through.
through, a read through, and then maybe blocking. But mostly it's just read through. Second rehearsal, start blocking everything else. It's crazy. So Artie asks Cam to stay back, and he leads her backstage as Joel watches on from his shadowy perches or wherever he's at.
Mhm.
And so Artie takes Cam into one of the back dressing rooms, or I guess it's Artie's dressing room, and asks him she's asking him if he already knows who's going to be Sophia on opening night.
Yeah.
And Artie pulls out like this mini stage, like it looked almost like a puppet, like a theater
It's a
for puppet.
yeah. It's a little puppet stage,
And,
like a mini stage.
He pulls back the curtains to reveal 2 martini glasses. He takes one, offers the other to Cam.
What
which,
kind of pervy player
Thank you.
serves martinis to an underage girl
Thank you, because
when
like
her
at this point,
uncle owns the camp?
yes, not even the uncle, like she's
Or
not
whatever.
really-
yeah, they're not. Yeah,
But I think
Meat Loaf.
because
Uncle Meat Loaf.
it's only 10 years, so that girl, like I said, if she's 10, she would be 18 by now, maybe.
Maybe.
So I mean, she's underage by several years, and
Yeah.
so you're offering this girl martinis, an 18-year-old girl martinis, and to make it even creepier, like as soon as he hands her the glass, he leans in to start making out, like
Yeah.
he goes straight for the
He
kiss.
goes straight for it. There's
Not-
no
there's no
play.
small talk,
No,
there's nothing.
nothing.
Here's
No.
alcohol, kiss me.
You rapey bastard.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
She leans away from him, but tries to like smooth things over by saying that, hey, we have to kiss in the show, and I don't want to ruin the magic of the moment.
don't wanna ruin the
that first
magic,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Which I thought was good job, sister.
Yeah.
Good job of trying to avoid.
yeah. So Artie gets up to leave, and Cam asks her one more time if like who's going to be playing Sophia on opening night, and he responds by saying, "Well, he wouldn't want to take away from the magic of the moment," and
Right,
just leave.
asshole.
Yeah.
So obviously he's laying it down that if you don't give me what I want, then what's her?
He's
Red-
the real. He's
yeah.
the real casting couch type of director.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is really creepy to see the fact that he's at a
Ah.
camp for like school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really know the age range of these.
You gotta be high school.
It's
I
got
mean,
yeah. You got to think that it's high school.
yeah. I mean, they're certainly not college because they wouldn't be there with. I mean, yeah, it's gotta be high
yeah.
school. So now we cut to like this montage of the cast rehearsing
Next
and the
musical.
crew working on getting everything ready. And this montage,
Oh my
I'm
God.
using air quotes in a montage, is like seriously, it's like a 10 to 15-minute montage. And it counts down the days to opening night.
Yep.
And during it, it shows the battle between Liz and Cam going back and forth, each one trying to gain the upper hand on who's going to be Sophia. And in between, like, the montage and the songs, there's little scenes that kind of break you down here and there. Like, one is Joel asking Cam if she would like to come to Bunk 10's Night of Sodenheim. Sodenheim? The music guy. And then...
Sondheim? I don't
Sondheim,
remember what. Yeah.
Sondheim, thank you.
I don't. He definitely asked her on a date.
Yeah, basically it's a date.
It's like all this music interspersed with dialogues.
Yeah.
That kind of move the story along
But it's
over the course of 20 days.
Yeah,
Is that what it
something
is? Like
that.
20 days.
Yeah, something like that. But it's still
kind of
basically a giant
intense.
montage.
Kind of almost like Eye of the Tiger, but a
Yeah.
little creepier.
And we see Joel spying on Cam through a door. And we
Yeah,
also-
what?
Yeah, what?
Because Cam is like kissing on Artie because she's dressing sluttier and sluttier
Yeah,
in
she
like
does.
every single scene
She,
too.
I didn't even think about that, but now you mentioned she does. She starts wearing very practical, and then she starts wearing like kind of tank tops, shorts, shorter shorts. Like she's starting to, yeah.
Do you notice like in the first scene when we see her in the kitchen, she looks kind of like Cinderella, like her hair's back in a ratty ponytail
Yeah.
and she's all messed up looking.
That's a great, yeah, she is very Cinderella.
And then as soon as she starts like trying to impress Artie, like
Very
her hair
glamorous.
is like very she's working it. She knows
Yeah,
what
that's
she
a
has in-
great. Oh my god, that's a great,
Hey,
great thing to think. I even think that's Cinderella reference. That's wonderful.
Camilla, she comes by it honestly. She knows.
So, what was one of the very young camper, the little girl, she comes up asking for Cam's autographed, while we see Liz in the foreground bitching and complaining, being catty, to the
Oh,
Canadian Idol
God.
girl.
Oh my god, which is so funny because she like tells this alto joke. She's like,
Yeah.
Which I'm
Again,
sorry,
it's
if you
such
were
it's
ever-
an inside joke.
Yeah.
For like only like the music theater and music people would actually get that joke.
yes,
But it's
if you were ever in choir, you would understand that sopranos hated altos and altos didn't like sopranos.
always seem to be like to me.
Yes.
Sopranos are like the prima donnas. I'm the
Yes.
soprano.
I'm a
the tenor.
soprano.
I'm the best.
I can sing the highest, and
Yeah.
we as altos, because I used to be an alto, as altos used to say like, just because you can sing high doesn't mean you can sing good. Like, so there was like the little animosity, but she says like, why am I even talking to you? You're not gonna understand. You're just an alto, and like, I was like, oh bitch,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah,
I
I
still
got
got
into it
it.
like, oh god, this brings back
I
memories.
loved it.
I was
it.
never. I can't sing with a shit. I'm telling you, but I knew I was in theater in college, so I was always around the musical.
You
the,
knew.
the musical theater people because I had to be around them. But yeah, so I got it all. And so one of my favorite parts of this extended montage is when the set construction kid who does his Leatherface impersonation, because there's a lot of like references and nods,
Yes.
not just musicals but horror movies.
Horror
There's so
movies,
many
too, yeah.
things in this movie to kind of keep an eye out for. And because he's in the shop, he's working and he's got this buzzsaw, and he's a kid's dressed in a white shirt and
Yeah.
tie with the brown apron on, and he does like his Leatherface chainsaw dance only with a buzzsaw instead.
That's right.
And he screams like ah! And he
That's
starts
good.
sawing wood. I loved that. So
It's intense.
we go back to Cam and Artie. They're making out on the couch in the dressing
Oh
room.
yeah.
Again, she stops it. Artie's upset again because she gives Artie blue balls like 3 times in this
Oh
movie.
my god, yeah.
He buttons
man.
up his pants, which good for her. Like you can't keep Artie's a sleazy asshole, but whatever. The Cam cuts away.
Well, don't we like? Oh, I'm sorry. I got really confused because Artie goes back to Cam. Cam's during the whole, sorry to go back, but during the whole montage, Camilla is like on the sidelines as Liz is getting all the part.
Yeah.
And like at one point, Camilla kind of does something really smart that plays on Artie, and all Artie has to do is like wrap his arms around Camilla, and then he's like, "Take 5, Liz."
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, you make some serious decisions with your dick.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
You, like,
That's all he
really?
does. That's
No,
all he does.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
So,
let's
so
talk. Actually, let's talk about it because that comes back later. Because that
Okay.
scene, there's a scene where in the play the Sophia character is singing like, "Take me now, master."
Take me now,
and
Matt.
she's
Yeah.
standing there, facing out towards the audience, and her arms wide, and the phantom or the ghost, whatever, is supposed to come up behind her and like wrap his arms around her, like in this
Instead of
embrace.
Alfonso.
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of Alfonso. And so Sam is rehearsing the scene with Liz, and Sam just can't seem
Can't
to
do
get it right.
Musicals make this guy way too gay.
Yeah,
he just
way too gay.
can't
Can't
get
do
it.
it.
Nope.
So
Can't find the
Cam
passion.
sitting there's sounds like, "Hey, Artie, why don't you show him what you mean on me?"
On me.
So she stands up and gets in front of me. Artie comes up and is like wrapping his arms around, like kind of feeling her up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah, take 5, everyone."
Take 5, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to be subtle, Artie.
Yeah, real subtle. Like everybody else should be calling like child stars, like,
Yeah,
we got
something's
some
going on.
seriously
Something's
going
on here.
Get special victims unit out here right now. Mariska Hargitay, hey, you need to be out here at this camp.
And beyond that, Camilla is so surrounded by like creepers in that whole thing too. Like between that scene with Artie being creepy and like making out with Artie and Joel spying on her, and then you get the creepy hillbilly again.
Yeah,
and
the caretaker's always looking on too.
it's just like everybody. And Meat Loaf. Is Meat Loaf in any of that? I don't.
No, I don't see a
okay.
whole lot of him during
Okay.
this part. But so yeah, Artie, like I said, they're back making out. She stops. Artie buttons up his pants, and
She
then
disses
as
him.
soon as that happens, we go right back to Liz, who is now retaking her on stage see me taking the lead in the competition because Artie's like, well, she didn't put it out, so she's back on the
She's
bench.
back on the
Liz,
bench.
you're back in.
What's Liz been doing? I want to know.
Well, there's one scene. I don't know if maybe it happened already or if it coming up, but there's a scene where they show like Cam walks into rehearsal and finds Artie making out with Liz on stage.
Oh, that's right.
Like, rehearsing their kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they have a history because at that very beginning scene in the mess hall when they're announcing the play, she's like,
that's right.
when Artie says like, "Yeah, and I'm going to play the lead again," and Liz like, he probably just wants to make out.
He just wants to
again.
make out with me.
Yeah.
He just wants to make out. So he's a perv.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So during a rehearsal, Meat Loaf comes in asking how the show's going. Ari tells him that it's genius, that he himself is a genius. So at this point, Ari kind of thinks of himself as like the Kanye West of musical theater.
Oh God.
Like,
whatever
it's genius.
that means.
I'm a genius.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
He's a loony.
Fuck Kanye West.
Oh
I'm sorry.
God. Yeah.
Fuck
That guy.
Anyway, back on track. Meat Loaf tells Ari that Victor Brady has already reserved his seats for the opening night. Now, Brady is supposed to be one of the Broadway big shots, big wigs. But we cut back to 3 days before opening night, and Meat Loaf is on the phone trying to reach Victor Brady, again being told by receptionists that he will have to return his call, and he gets hung up on. So he kind of lied about
rough.
that.
Yeah, he bluffed. He's getting a little bit more desperate and desperate.
Yeah, he's
more
coming more
desperate
unraveled
as time goes on.
Yes. So the montage, which is still going on, by the way, takes us all the way up to one day before opening night.
One day.
And Cam's on stage singing, and we see behind her backstage both creepy caretaker and Joel watching her as they go about their
what
jobs.
What the hell is everybody watching her?
Everybody's just like got the hots for Cam, apparently, man. They want to get into those panties.
She's hot, but damn.
Yeah, she's a pretty girl. So anyway, yeah, Artie is he's up in the rafters hanging another ellipsoidal light. There we go. Terminology.
Oh.
Terminology. Ellipsoidal. They don't use a whole lot of Fresnel lights because I was a theater guy. I was a tech theater guy. Ellipsoidal lights and Fresnels and all that. He's hanging ellipsoidals. The big can. And he's up there singing like, "I'll never let him steal her away from me," and blah blah blah. I love her. He's singing all this stuff. And after rehearsal, Cam enters Artie's dressing room again, asking if he's made his decision about who will play Sophia on opening night.
I mean, it's one night away.
Yeah.
Artie is holding out.
Yeah, he is.
Damn.
But he's like not wanting to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
Since she doesn't want, since Cam doesn't want to put out, he just gets up to leave, but she stops and says, "Hey," and she says, she wants to. I mean, she wants to sleep with him, but when the night is right, as in,
Yeah.
then when they get picked up on Broadway, so they will have something to
Like
celebrate.
we could just celebrate. She is trying to play that game.
Yeah.
And then he starts making out with her, like kissing her, like he's getting into it, like he believes
Yeah,
her.
because he's like, I was beginning to think you didn't
Oh.
have. They start making out. Like
Yeah.
I was beginning to think you didn't have what it takes to be the lead, and they kiss some more. But then he says, "Now I know for sure you don't."
You don't diss.
Yeah, he
Ah,
turns,
calls her
Lee, and
bluff.
just exits the room.
Shit. I just wrote down shit. Like I was like, that asshole. Like you know what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah, oh,
You
yeah.
know it.
Yeah. So leaving a very stunned and shocked and confused Cam to stand there alone, she turns around and she finds spots a framed newspaper article on the wall that reads "Center Stage
Yeah.
alums set for Broadway debut. Talent scouts scoop young actors from Limelight Showcase." And the Limelight Showcase is the name for like the big camp production at the end of the camp or whatever.
Right.
So she sees it like, oh well, shit, this actually could work. You know, maybe I actually have to
I
do
need
something.
to do this.
So
yeah.
she calls out, "Wait!"
Just wait.
Ari re-enters the room. She strips off her shirt and her bra, but it's on from the back, so you don't see any boobs. No boobs are seen.
No boobs.
And which sucks is she looks like she would have some really
Yeah,
nice ones.
I was kind of upset about that. I
yeah.
know it's a spoofy movie
It's a
or
spoof,
whatever,
and
but
I get it, but
God.
Ari like, okay, yeah. Now he closes the door. They make out, lowering themselves onto the couch.
Mhm.
The camera
Hey.
changes angles to show someone wearing black gloves quietly opening the dressing room door a crack and looking in as Artie is on top of Cam, making it on the couch.
All I can think at this point is somebody gonna die soon?
Yeah, you know, for a horror
Because,
movie, it's
like-
there's been no real scares or jump scares.
Yeah.
It's just all building up. This has been more like High School Music. I've never seen it, but like
It's very much like it's
something like
very
that.
much like that, and especially since we had such a huge kill,
At
like
the very
such a
beginning, yeah.
crazy huge graphic kill in the beginning. Then, like you said, for no like jumps or nothing that is really enticing
all they're
you
doing
psychologically.
is setting up like.
They're
You know,
setting up that
is
there's
it
this
Joel? Is it the creepy caretaker? Is
Yeah,
it, you know, they're
through
just setting up all
song.
these red herrings and setting
through
up all
song.
yeah, through song. So the gloved hand closes the door. Cam comes to her senses, covers herself up with her arms,
Yeah, finally.
and then asks, "Are you gonna be mad at me if I go back to my bunk now?"
Yeah, she just doesn't want to have sex, man.
Yeah,
She doesn't want to do it.
And then Ari chimes back with, "Are you gonna be mad at me if I put Liz on stage tomorrow night?" And so Cam gets dressed, storms out of
Yes.
the room, and then
Finally.
Artie shouts out sarcastically, "Really, it's a tough decision.
Oh,
Don't worry, I'll lock up." You know,
Yeah.
like just
Oh,
being
yeah.
a real dick.
you're the director.
Yeah, like have some professionalism, dude. Like, come on. So he's pulling his pants up, and he hears a thud coming from out in the stage.
Yeah, I was
area.
gonna say, what is he even hear? I couldn't.
There's
I
a
tried
thud.
to. Okay.
It's like a something like that.
Well, he seems really concerned about it.
Yeah,
And I was like, I didn't even hear anything. Yeah.
really concerned about it. Over really is nothing. Which the fact that he's still concerned about it is really kind of hard to believe. It's like you're in a stage where people are working on sets, and like,
Right.
there's gonna be noise like thuds, knockings, like.
And she just walked out.
Yeah,
I mean, She
exactly.
just walked out.
For all he knows, it could have just been her like
Closing
kicking
the
a wall
door.
or, you know,
Yeah.
angry and punching the wall or something. Anyway, so he hears like this deep whispering voice calling his name, and he finds himself. He finds adding ambiance to it. He finds himself on the stage, and then all of a sudden, when two of the lights pop on, and he's like in a spotlight, and on the stage with Ari is a single skinny lamppost with like an uncovered light bulb in it.
Which Joel placed there earlier.
Yes, we see Joel placing that
during the song.
during the song.
It was a lot of song.
Ari's looking up into the rafters when suddenly one of the lights falls. He's nearly able to move out of the way of the falling ellipsoidal. Then a second one
Ellipsoidal.
falls. Again, he manages to nearly dodge out of the way. And then it starts raining stage lights as the man in black, we see him up in the rafters, like drops one after another. And
Who is it? Is it Joel? We don't know.
Yeah, you would
We
think
don't
so
know.
because he's the only one we see up on the rafters
Yeah.
so far.
He knows about those, what are they?
Ellipsoidals.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm thinking, oh God, those are so expensive. That's so expensive.
Stop
to
doing
replace.
that.
Stop it. Those are so much money. So, drop it
What
for
are you
now.
doing?
They're cheaper. So Artie can only dodge him for so long with like the C clamp and
Oh
the light,
yeah,
goes through his foot,
it just clamps
and
right down.
pins him to the stage. Like his foot is pinned into the stage now, and it looks pretty. It's graphic looking. It's really good.
I like that. I like
good
how they
effect.
do that in this movie. They really show a lot of the graphic effects very up close. It's like they don't try to hide them or use a
No.
lot of camera tricks.
No, except there isn't. This is the first time since the opening scene we've had any kind of real scare, any blood.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been a whole lot of it, but when they do it, they do it right.
It's really,
it's really
good. Yeah,
good.
it makes up for the waiting.
So now the music picks up right now. It starts picking up
Yeah.
as the light comes on, and and backlit stands the killer in all
There he
black,
is.
wearing the opera ghost mask and welding his two custom-made circular blades.
Yeah, and it's very and you hear that metal rock theme again.
Exactly. Because
It's
at this
very
point, it turns.
Tenacious D. It's,
As soon as the killer appears, it goes very metal.
yeah,
And the killer gets face to face with Artie, who's like trying to lean back and away, but the more he leans away, the more his foot actually starts to like rip in half from the C-clamp that's pinning it to the floor. So the killer
pretty
backs
good.
up a bit and then snarls, "Break a leg!" and then kicks Artie in the chest, sends him flying backwards, and his foot gets just ripped
it
in
just
half.
falls apart.
Yeah,
it just
falls.
rips right apart. Which again looks pretty good.
It looks
I
really
mean,
good.
Yeah.
For
Break
a
a
foot
leg.
ripping in half,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So Artie scrambles to one of the fallen lights, and he swings at the killer, knocking him down.
Yep.
And then he looks over to see a large box labeled swords. As a chorus softly sings, Hallelujah!
Hallelujah. So he like crawls over to the swords. Ah.
He crawls over to the box, he gets the lid open, and he
like
reaches
Monty
in to grab his
Python.
sword, but the killer then suddenly just pops up, slams the lid closed, which severs
Smashes
every
his hand.
finger. Not just smashes
Oh.
it, all of his fingers on the hand are
Yeah.
severed off. Cut clean off.
No sword for you, Artie.
No sword for you.
I'd feel bad if you weren't such a douchebag.
Exactly. Like this one, you're like, yeah, kill his asshole. The killer drags Artie over to the skinny lamppost where he forces open Artie's mouth, and then he
Right.
forces Artie's face down, making him basically forcing him to eat the light
Eat
bulb.
the light
the light
bulb,
bulb is now
yeah.
in his mouth,
The whole socket and everything.
Yeah.
Like he has his lips wrapped around it. Yeah.
and he's deep throwing this light bulb. And the killer
Yeah,
then turns
basically.
on the light, and we hear the sound of like the light burning Artie's mouth from
Zapping him.
the inside.
Oh, he's getting zapped.
Smoke's coming out of his mouth as we hear the high-pitched squealing noise of like it's like burning and sizzling.
Uh-huh.
The killer takes one step back and then uses both hands. He punches the side of Artie's face, shattering the light bulb inside his mouth.
Oh,
Artie begins to twitch as he's getting like electrocuted.
oh, yep.
The killer just shoves Artie's dead body to the ground where we see his now burnt and charred face. And the killer then let loose a heavy metal as the screen goes black.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much of. Can we talk about the killer really quick? So
course.
now that we've seen him,
Yeah.
So his mask is, like this. It's very reminiscent of the kabuki, the kabuki mask. But I thought it was kind of like Kiss meets Saw because like the mouth
Oh my God, that's
actually
awesome.
moves. Like, did you notice that? Like
Did the mouth move on
the
that one?
mouth on his
On that mask.
his mask actually like went up and it was very Kiss slash. And
Oh
he
my, I
looks
can't believe I
kinda
didn't think of that.
Kiss-like.
But yeah, Kiss and.
It was,
Oh, that's genius, Sarah.
But it reminded me the music, his whole theme, everything's so. Thank
I'm sorry.
you.
I got
Thank you.
that toy.
No, it did because I
eclipsed
kept.
my thought like Saw meets Kiss. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
because it was that horror meets metal, and it reminded me of Tenacious D. Have you ever seen Pick of Destiny?
Yes.
God,
yes.
it like the whole. Like everything that he sang reminded me of like what the devil sings in the Pick of Destiny. And it was just, I was like, wow, these guys are really influenced by like Ronnie James Dio. I don't know. Like, but so I liked, he was kind of cartoonish, but it was really graphic. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I loved it too. So we cut to Cam waking up in bed all sweaty again, just like we saw before.
Yeah.
She goes outside
She's
to find.
sweaty a lot. She
She has like night terrors, meat sweats
She's
or
been
something.
through some shit.
Yeah.
Meat sweats.
Meat sweats. It's meatloaf.
Bacon. Meat Loaf.
The meatloaf sweats.
Gross.
So she goes outside to find Meat Loaf, trying to calm down all the campers, and tells the campers that there's been an accident.
Some shit is going on. There's been an accident.
Yeah. And Cam makes her way through the crowd of campers, and we can hear whispers of, I heard a light fell on him. I heard his foot was ripped in half. Joel shows up and tells Cam that Bunk 8 campers found Artie in pieces. This on the stage this morning.
But it was just an accident.
Yeah, but it was just an accident.
Just an accident.
Artie accidentally just cut himself into pieces.
Oh, man. He just fell apart. Artie's foot couldn't take the pressure.
He crumbled underneath the pressure. Joel goes on to say that Meat Loaf is calling it an accident, but Sam's costume is still missing.
Mm-hmm.
He asked her if she thinks this is connected to her mother.
Could the show be cursed?
Yeah, exactly. So Joel suggests that there's someone out there who really doesn't want Meat Loaf to put on this play.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy shows up now, and he and Cam hug, and the next thing you know, the two of them are sitting on the dock on the lake, talking about the killing and the show and how Cam thinks about her mom a lot, and they're just having like a heart-to-heart, and she goes on to say that when she was on stage singing her mother's songs, that she felt for the first time that maybe this is what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And Buddy tells her that he saw her rehearse and that she's really good. But then Cam kind of changes her tone and says, you know what, I just want to get away from here. I want to get away from this camp, the play, from everything. And then Buddy's like, all right, let's go. And like, let's just
get
leave.
the F out of there. Go.
Yeah.
What the hell? I mean, the guy that she was just about to have sex with that she denied, 5 minutes later ends up in pieces or what he, I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, his foot is one way and his fingers are over there.
I mean,
and
there's pieces.
I mean, there's pieces of him laying around the stage and the sword box and whatnot. So get the fuck out of there. Listen to Buddy. Do it.
So we cut the cameras outside of Meat Loaf's office now, crowded around the door, trying to get in so they can use the payphone to call home. And Meat Loaf's on the other side, fighting them back and trying to force them back outside. Tell him, like, wait, he needs to call the sheriff. And the next shot, he's at his desk looking at the number for the sheriff, but he's like, slams down the phone. He's like, fuck, he's not doing it.
Yep.
But as soon as the phone hits the receiver, it rings, and making Meat Loaf like jump. What the fuck? Like, what the shit? He answers the phone, and it's Victor Brady from 42nd Street Productions, the big shot. And Brady wants to know more about the showcase. And in comes Cam, wanting to talk to Meat Loaf. Meat Loaf waves her off, like, don't talk to me now, as Brady goes on to say that he felt that if it wasn't for Callie Swanson's murder, the original show would have run for much longer than it did. Had a great run. Meat Loaf looks up to say that we have the perfect successor, her daughter, and then Brady's like, oh,
what a manipulative asshole.
Yeah. And Brady's like, all right, I'll be there tonight at 8. Hangs up the phone, move on.
Everyone wants to use the star. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Once you get big, you have no true friends anymore.
No, everybody wants to use you.
Everyone wants a piece.
Even Meat Loaf.
Yeah.
A piece of Meat Loaf.
A piece of Meat Loaf. Meat Loaf tells her she needs to rest up for her big performance tonight, and tells him that Buddy and her, but then she tells him that Buddy and her are moving out for good. Like, we're moving out, we're moving on. Meat tells her that Brady is coming to see her tonight, but Cam is she's not wavering. He's like, you know, this isn't for me anymore. I'm done. And finally, a desperate plea, Meat brings up the mom, saying that says that Artie wanted her to play Sophia, and he told Meat that he saw Cam transform on stage as if she was meant to play Sophia.
What
and
about
of course,
Artie?
she gets this from her mother.
Yeah.
She brings up the mom again.
Ah.
So Meat's like, take the night and give Sophia, you know, one last chance. Do one for it and
one more.
Yeah.
One more time. He is it's working.
Yeah.
It is working.
She gets, she's like, all right, fine. The door flings open, in pour several kids trying to get to the phone. And again, Meat just ushers them out like they're sheep. Just get out of here. Outside, Meat addresses the campers and gives them a motivational speech that turns into song.
Of course it does.
About how musical theater helps heal and makes all the bad things go away.
Remember the first time you saw a musical? A musical. A musical.
It's like World War II happened, but musical theater made World War II seem like nothing.
It made it
okay.
seem better.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be okay.
So,
he's just asking. And the thing is so funny because he's like, just give me one more day.
Yeah.
Just one day. He's asking a whole group of children to hide a death
hide
for
a death.
24
And
hours.
even like there's like 6-year-old girls like, isn't it illegal to hide a dead body?
Isn't it wrong to sing and dance
Oh, yeah.
when someone just died? Isn't that illegal? And he's like,
No!
no!
Musical theater is great.
Musical number.
So,
They reference Jesus Christ music.
thank you.
Jesus Christ
yes,
Superstar.
because as soon as all the cameras join in, it sounds exactly like Jesus Christ Superstar. Again, just for a moment, but just to avoid those copyrights.
enough.
But you know just enough that it's Jesus Christ Superstar.
So good.
Cam exits the office
So
as
fucked
the
up.
song ends. Meat turns around and announces her as tonight's leading lady, and Liz Silver does not look happy about this one bit.
Oh, no.
She is a pouty bitch.
Liz is pissed.
Meat Loaf and the campers break out into song again about how the show must go on, and the campers carry Cam away like she just scored the game-winning touchdown. And the crowd moves away singing, all happy, and we see Meat Loaf rip out the phone line.
Yeah,
Which
what?
is really fucking weird. Like, oh, that's great, but it really has no. I don't think it has any bearing later in the movie. I don't think nothing ever comes back to that.
It really doesn't. I think it's just one more really weird and
It's just
creepy,
one more thing-
desperate
desperate
move
move
like
to
that's
keep-
happening.
So
yeah.
no kid can call home or something like that.
Yeah, so now they're trapped. But basically, yeah, it's not like somebody tries to call out later.
Yeah, like
but,
nobody tries to use it there.
but
yeah.
at least you know nobody's going to call out later. So
Yeah. We
you're
cut,
screwed. I mean, whatever.
and again, we go to the killer in the dark basement, saying like, "Shut your fucking face! Your musicals are full of shit." And again, it's very heavy metal. It's all rock.
And it's very much like, it is kind of like the Phantom of the Opera, where you're constantly seeing the Phantom down in the bowels
yeah.
of something in the dark and being upset and
Oh,
getting
the whole movie itself
emotional.
is kind of like
Yeah,
Family
it's
Opera.
it's so much like that. Yeah.
So now we see like I totally missed my notes here. I can't read it now. We song now that the song that Cam and the campers are all
Yeah.
singing, it gets mixed in with the killer's metal song, and it makes this like really kind of cool mixture like melody type thing where it's like classic musical theater mixed with like metal and back and forth. It's actually done pretty well. It's done very well.
It is done really well. It's like the protagonist and the antagonist, and they're like going back and forth, and
Yeah.
so it's done very much like a typical musical style that
Yes.
you would see, where they, you have that bad guy singing about something negative over here in its own, and you have like the do-gooders over here trying to do good, and
The ingenue.
yes, and it's all gonna come together and be really crazy.
So after the song and
Uh-huh.
dance, we go to Buddy and Cam talking
Yeah.
in their bunk, and Cam's reassuring Buddy that she still plans on moving
She's
out
like, I'm
with him.
getting out of here
Yeah.
soon. We're doing
We're
it. I'm
going.
still moving.
We're still going it. And in comes one of the older girl campers to get Cam and take her to the stage so they can all
Mm-hmm.
get ready. And at the stage, everyone's setting up, getting ready. Meat tells Dave that he's counting on him and that this is his big opportunity to step up. That you're taking the show from open to close, so you're in charge.
No
now.
matter what.
Yeah.
This show is gonna close. You're taking
Must
it
go
to
on.
curtain.
Yeah.
You're taking it to the curtain.
So in the dressing
Dave is
room,
serious.
Cam looks at the picture of her mom and then tucks it into her dress for like motivation.
Mm-hmm.
The doors are open. The crowd begins to file in. David is shown trying to raise Joel on the headsets, but he's getting no response from Joel.
Right.
So back in the bathrooms, that girl we saw come pick Cam up is now force feeding Cam all these actor cliche voice remedies and exercises. She's like spraying Cam's throat with some kind of spray and then forcing her to swallow honey, like spoonfuls of honey.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
Same shit.
Been
Everybody
there.
been there.
In fact, she was like, I have my throat coat, I have my lemon, but I don't have any honey. And the girl's like, I've got you covered. I almost brought throat coat, honey, and lemon today because I just readily have that in my house because that shit works. I mean, come on. There's something to be said about it.
So Joel bursts into the bathroom with him, pleading with Cam like not to do this show night. That there's a killer around. Don't do
killer
this,
on the
please
loose.
don't. The girl basically forces Joel out of the room. And
Joel is trying to plead with her, like, don't do this. There is a killer
around. Nobody cares.
He is being completely sincere
Yeah.
too. And the other girl's like, Joel, warm-ups are super important. Get out.
Not even listening.
Joel's like,
there's a
shut
kid-
up.
Oh, but he's forced out of the room, and Cam just looks at him while like she's about to cry, but she closes the door on him. And the other girl rambles on about a vocal trick that her voice coach taught her about steaming up the room, and then you can just come in here at any point of the show and just moisten your vocal cords.
Yeah.
Now,
There's
again,
a shower.
I put this in my notes here, but we've already kind of talked about it. But this is where I put, the funny thing about this is that I know people like this girl from my college. Like, I know these girls that are out there, like, the super serious about every little voice trick you could possibly do, and whether it works or not, like the old, like, wives' tales, like, this, do this, and do this, and the girl's going around, like,
yeah, she's doing vocal warm-ups. Which is so, I mean, okay, so like, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, those are things that I've done all those things. All right, I've totally.
I know, but it's like, oh god,
I know.
I
know.
And that part because I was never a singer. So our we did like kind of like the tongue twisters.
Oh yeah, yeah. At the beginning
red
of theater,
leather, yellow leather, lion face, lemon face, and all that stuff. But
lion face,
lemon face, ooh. But like the
oh man,
the
two theater geeks here.
The singing vocals just got on my nerves so much.
I know, but
oh god, please shut up.
I'm glad, and that's exactly what she should have done then, because that is exactly what it's like. I mean, that's exactly what it is, and warming up is super important, Joel. Shut up. Get out.
So the seating area continues to fill with people, and we see Whitney, the costume girl, with Sam, and they're going over he's showing her the new ghost mask which she's made, and we're talking about kind of pretty close to the wire there. You're just now getting that new mask made, like night
what
of opening
happened to
night.
dress rehersal? Did these people have a dress?
There was no dress rehearsal. Yeah.
That's not professional.
Yeah, not at all. No dress rehearsal. So Sam turns to leave, bumps into the creepy caretaker. He's like, hey, guy, you can't be back here during the show because this is where I have to have my quick change. I need the space. So get out of here, Mr. Janitor.
Why is the janitor? Why? What is up with this janitor?
He's just there.
Why?
I don't.
He's like the Rob Schneider character in Waterboy. He's like the you can do it guy. You can do it. He just shows up. He's just a creepy guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't see it. He never says a single word about the entire movie.
No, he just looks at everybody with a menacing look.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera keeps going to him.
Trying to build suspense, to build this guy up.
I'm telling you right now, he's not that.
It's not. Come on, it's really not surprising at all at the end of this.
No, well, right.
David goes around telling everyone to take their places, and when he gets to Sam, he places a hand on Sam's arm, and Sam has a moment of gay awakening, but he then shakes it off after David leaves, and the show starts. And after the opening scene, Sam comes off the stage, bumps into David, and David's like, "You nailed it!" And in an adrenaline-filled moment, Sam just kisses David around the lips.
David.
And then it's like, walks away, and both of them are like, what the hell? What? And so the movie skips ahead.
I had so many friends that it happened that way for them, too. They figured it out during the aria.
Well, think of gay arias. Oh, I get it now. All right, I'm gay.
Hey,
I
man,
got it.
a good written musical, a well written. Rodgers and Hammerstein did a lot for people.
Musicals make people feel gay.
I'm
So the movie, we skip ahead in the show. We're somewhere in the show now, and Cam's on stage singing when we show someone in black dumping a can of red paint into a bucket that's tied to a rope, and the person takes his bucket up to the rafters to set it up over Cam, and now we see that's Liz Silver.
Right. Well, did we talk about how Victor Brady was there?
Yeah, he shows up. Well, he said he's gonna be there. He shows up.
Okay.
He shows up. He's like the last person to enter, but he's there. He's in the front row, so Brady's there watching it all.
Okay.
But so we cut to Sam entering his changing space, looking for Whitney, who's supposed to help him with his quick change. And a person in black gloves shows up behind Sam. He, of course, thinks it's Whitney. He takes off his mask, and he sees a mannequin head sitting in front of him that has dozens of pins sticking out of it, which is a very obvious nod to Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Yeah.
And Sam glances over to his left and sees the dead body of Whitney shoved into a wardrobe. and she's been killed by having dozens of nails nailed into her face, making her look like the mannequin head. Again, the Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, yeah.
And
which I liked. I
Yeah.
know we didn't get to see her die, but
No,
I liked that.
yeah, I liked
yeah,
it
was
too.
Good.
So the killer grabs Sam from behind, covers his mouth, and then the killer squeals out, "Nailed it!"
Nailed it!
And he then picks up a large pair of scissors and stabs Sam in the back.
It was quick.
Yeah.
It was quick.
And Sam's dropped to the floor. Again, the killer belts out, "Now, how is that for a quick change?" And then stomps on Sam's chest, causing the scissors to puncture all the way through Sam's chest cavity.
Yeah, that was my favorite, I think. That was my I have to say, the killer, again, like, I like how they balanced the killer and made him scary, like, really horrific. I mean, he did these horrific deaths, but then also
He's
he's
witty.
cheesy, man.
He's
He's
cheesy.
so cheesy.
He's
Yes,
witty.
he's got the dad puns. I loved it. Like, nailed it. Yes, you did.
There's so many references to all, like I said, all the horror movies. But one, like I was trying to figure out, there's no real Halloween reference, and there wasn't a
No.
Nightmare on Elm Street reference until when I was like, maybe the puns are the reference of Nightmare on Elm Street, because Freddy always had like bad puns about killing.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's
maybe.
it could be a stretch, but it's the only thing I can think of. Because Freddy had a lot of puns when he was killing people.
That's true. He did.
Uh,
Nailed it.
Back on stage, Cam is crushing it. She's nailing it. Liz is waiting for the perfect time to dump
Yeah.
the paint bucket on her, a la Carrie.
By the way, the song that she is singing, did you listen to any of the lyrics
Yeah, it
of
sounds
this
like his
song?
breath on my breast
His-
and all that.
He's undressing my dress, and like it was so. She's talking about Alfonso,
Yeah.
basically like.
Alfonso!
it just-
I love him, Alfonso!
Oh,
Yeah,
it
I
was
can't do
so
it.
awesome.
yeah.
It was, the lyrics were really good. Because I really wanted more spoofiness to some of the things that they were singing, like ridiculousness, and this was ridiculous. Under the guise of like being really sexy,
yeah.
but also right after this big killing happened. So it was, I liked that
That's
they
a
put
yeah.
this really funny little like his on my
breath
breast.
his breath on my
He's
breast.
on my breast, and she's standing out there in like a corset.
Yeah, first of all, I gotta say, from a guy's perspective,
Damn.
she looks
Oh,
hot in this
amazing.
scene. Like
Yeah.
she's got this like tight corset like dress on. Her boobs are just
Up
pushed
to her
up to her
chin.
chin.
Good God.
They look. Oh, you just want to motorboat the shit out of those titties
She's
in this
yeah,
movie.
and you know what? She's wearing like a really short black wig.
Short
It's
black
supposed to be
wig.
like kabuki.
Yeah, it's
and
Japanese
yeah,
style, and white face with red kabuki
yeah.
highlights. She looks amazing.
It
in
was
this.
really, it was
good.
really well done. Yeah.
And so yeah. Anyway, so Liz is up in the rafters waiting to basically carry Cam,
Yeah. Oh.
but she waits a little too long and she's grabbed from behind by the killer. Now Cam sings her line, "Master, you may take me now," which is that cute,
Master, you may take me now.
and that's what, like I said, we heard.
No.
That's the scene we were talking about when like she like, "Hey Artie, show
Oh
him on
yeah,
me." That's this
Artie.
scene.
That's that scene.
We're-
No.
Yeah, so the opera ghost is supposed to come up and grab her from behind, but nothing happens.
Nope.
So she sings it a few more times, still nothing happens. David is losing his shit on the headset,
Sam, Sam.
and suddenly
Like, they're-
someone dressed in the ghost costume and mask stumbles. She is kind of like backs off away
Cam
off.
just
the-
like
she's
walks off
oh,
stage with a smile, like,
like-
da-da-da-da-da, I'm leaving.
All right, I'm out here.
now."
I'm leaving now. And after she leaves, we see someone dressed up in the opera ghost costume and mask stumble onto the stage and just kind of stumbles around like they're drunk.
Yeah.
And David tells the maestro to play something, anything. And then there's like the light comical music is played as the ghost stumbles around the stage as the audience starts laughing. It's like the dun 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 dun. I can't do it, but it's really.
Yeah, it's the Hungarian Rhapsody #2.
Thank you.
So
Okay,
it's
there we go.
Liszt, and it's the same music that you see in so many like Warner Brothers cartoons, and it was in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing. She is, yeah, or whoever this is floating around on stage.
Yeah,
and
just bopping around.
people think it's really funny.
Backstage, Cam is frantically looking. Cam is looking for Sam.
Yeah.
She finds him dead in the dressing room.
Oh yeah.
Finds a headset and tells David that there's a killer in the theater.
Killer in the theater.
And Dave's like, hey, we need you on stage. And Gideon's like, no, there's a killer in the theater. And Dave's like, yes, that's your line. Now go say it on the stage.
I love that song. That is your line. Go say it on the stage. She's like,
She screams, drops the headset, and he looks over and finds Whitney's dead body. She screams again.
She freaks out. Now it's on now.
Yeah. And the vocal warm-up girl now enters the bathroom, turns on the shower to steam up the room to do her vocal exercises.
Which is ridiculous because she's been in like one scene thus far.
Yeah, we've only seen her in one scene in the play.
She's not in the main part. She does not need to be warming herself up.
She's like the ensemble chorus girl, but again takes it way like she acts like she's the lead with her vocal exercise.
Yeah.
Like, I have like 2 lines, or like I'm not even a solo, but I have to act like just taking it over the top of it.
Dumb.
So David then takes actions into his own hands. He dons a rice hat and he goes out on stage to try to corral this opera ghost, who of course is still he thinks it's Sam. Yeah.
They are dancing.
David gets his hand on the ghost, and we can hear whoever it is trying to mutter something, but it's not clear. And the two of them start stumbling around the stage together, like just
dancing
looking like a
around,
weird dance.
Like it's supposed to be there, like it's supposed to be planned, and the audience is playing along, like comedic insert.
So we go back to the now steam-filled bathroom, and the girl is still making these ridiculous noises. Yeah. Exactly.
I've done it a lot.
And suddenly the killer pops up through the steam, grabs her by the back of the head, and belts out, "Let me help you warm up!" And he shoves her face under the boiling hot water that's coming out of the shower. And then he pulls out one of his circular blades, and we hear a slicing sound. We see the blood spray across the walls.
Splatter.
And we then go back to stage where David and the imposter ghost, when Cam enters the bathroom, seeing the dead body of the girl, her face is blistered and burnt from the scalding hot water.
Did you think that was a good effect? I felt like it was just like she looked like a pile of hair just laying there. I felt like it was the weakest one.
Yeah, it's the weakest one because the way the wig lays, it does look, the hair covers most of the look. And now, I actually counted that because the facial makeup, the blisters and everything weren't bad, but the wig, I think they put it there to hide so they could get away with natural and any kind of throat slash to kind of save money or save an effect there. But the hair covers up so much of it, it does look like just a weird hair.
It looked like a weird pile of hair. I went back and tried to watch it another time because I was like, that would have been a good kill.
Yeah, I went back and watched and
you didn't
paused
really get to see the kill.
I hate to say it again because we say it right, but it almost looks like she just got,
Scalped?
done with.
I
She
don't
just
know.
had a bad run with a Negan. Like it's just it's like you see hair and blood mush.
Yeah.
Like that's all you really see.
That's it.
Negan. So we cut to Meat Loaf now. He's outside the theater, kind of standing around, and he gets hit over the head with a pipe by the killer. He's knocked out.
It's the best.
He just clunk. And in the bathroom, Cam's trying to hold herself together. She finds one of the killer's circular blades on the floor, picks up for a closer look, and it cuts back to Meat Loaf being dragged into the kitchen.
Well, and did you notice, like, when she picked it up, like, the blade looked handmade?
Yeah,
it did not look like a circular saw blade. It's like it mimicked that.
Well, it's like this, or he took a saw blade and like customized it with finger grips or something.
He took some things.
Yeah, it's handmade.
Which we'll talk about after you find out who it is.
Okay.
This is what it doesn't really matter, but either way,
I think I know where you're going.
I think he was using materials.
Yeah, I think I know because if I'm on the same wavelength as you, I kind of thought the same thing about what that might be made out of. When we'll get to that later.
Like, why did he leave it, and why would she pick it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the killer, like I said, Meat Loaf is being dragged in the kitchen, and
which I love that. I love that POV of Meat Loaf being dragged.
Yeah.
I thought it right there. I know that we just watched like a couple people die, but it takes like a really dark turn right there. I felt like, because the POV shot, and it's like the shot of the killer looking down on Meat Loaf as he's dragging him, and Meat Loaf's eyes are rolling back in his head.
Yeah.
And he looks fucked up.
Yeah,
it is good. I was like, here we go.
Yeah,
it's about to get crazy.
It gets real, and it gets picked up.
I love it.
So they bursts into the kitchen. Meat Loaf is like thrown into a chair and like tied up, and the killer bursts out into the. To me, it sounds very Marilyn Manson-esque. Like, I've never met, but it just sounds like Marilyn Manson to me. And so Judge Freeze, I actually have the clip of this opening of the song.
Oh my God,
judge for yourself and see if you think this is Marilyn Manson or who else this might sound like.
You tried to run, but you never could hide. Hey, there's no escape now. It's a knife or a lie. Hey, where you going, fat man? Give me some slack, but you know I just pull you right back, man. You've got to fight. You never learn. You push me past the point of no return. Come here.
So yeah, see, to me, like, that opening, it sounds like Marilyn Manson to me. I don't listen to a whole lot of his stuff, but I do know it sounded like Marilyn Manson to me at the opening part of it. Anyway.
I think the reason, because like again, I keep thinking about how this, to me, the whole metal theme sounds so much like Tenacious D, like what Tenacious D does. But I think Tenacious D throws back so much to like those classic rockers like Alice Cooper and Ronnie James Dio, and a little, you know, Holy Diver. I think they did a really good job at I don't know, it just really bringing about that whole like classic genre. I don't know, that's probably one of my favorite things right there that you just played.
This song, it goes on for a while more than what I played, and the whole song, like the killer's just beating the shit out of
Meat Loaf is getting fucked up. I'm like, my favorite kill's about to happen right now. I was so pumped.
And I just gotta say, first for me, now I don't. Maybe Sarah, you picked up on this too. Maybe it's just because I'm a family opera obsessive nerd. But I had to make a reference. Like the killer says, "You push me past the point of no return."
No return.
So I'm like, oh, that's family opera too, because of the song,
Opera.
"The Point of No Return."
Yep.
Oh
man. They did a great job with
and also during this scene, it turns like a little music video from like that 80s to me, because I love it. Again, the killer's beating the shit out of Meat Loaf, and he grabs a guitar and a knife, and he raises his knife high above Meat Loaf's head, and you think he's gonna stab him with the knife, and he shoves the knife into the guitar strings and starts wailing away, playing this wicked guitar solo, like. It's just going crazy with this knife sticking out, and he slides the knife up and down the strings and uses it for effect. It's like, it's awesome. It's so awesome.
I love that part. I did love that part. But again, it almost took, I liked that part, but the first time I watched it, it disappointed me a little bit because it got so intense. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the best kill ever. Kill by song. Yeah. And then he like grabbed the guitar and shoved the thing in. I was like, or solo. Okay, that's cool too. Guitar solo. Like, but it really is good. I mean, the effect of it and like the comedy behind it is.
I think that's what I like about it, because it gets so dark and intense, and you think the shit's about to go down, and then all of a sudden it just breaks down to guitar
right back
solo.
into that guitar solo.
All right, that's kind of funny. It just kind of breaks up a little bit.
Solo.
But that awesome guitar solo is abruptly interrupted when Cam rushes in yelling, "Stop!" And the killer lowers the guitar. Cam walks up to the killer. She reaches out, removes the mask,
which is very Phantom of the Opera like.
Very Phantom.
This whole thing.
Yeah, Christy Daae removes. Yeah, very.
Yeah.
And the reveals it's Buddy.
Whoa.
It's Buddy, which. Really
we kind of. Who else was left? I mean.
Well, in fact, the whole movie's bitching about how much he hates musical theater and these people. Like, they're all freaks and they suck.
Kind of seems legit that he'd be a little pissed. His mom died, you know.
Yeah. They lock eyes for a moment, and then Buddy pushes her away, whips out the knife, shouting, "Get away!" And he's like, he tells her that he tried to keep her out of this, but she wouldn't listen. Yeah. And he goes in this crazed rant about how Meat Loaf wanted to do the show. Well, this is the show, Buddy. Like, this is it now. And the knife gets tossed aside, and Buddy begins to just strangle Meat Loaf. Like, he's like, fuck it, it's getting personal now.
Great.
Cam picks up the knife. She's begging, pleading, crying for Buddy to stop. Buddy shouts back to Cam, "He killed Mommy."
You know he killed Mom.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
So like, what?
You asshole.
Yep.
You knew.
Now, the shock of hearing that freezes Cam in place.
Right.
Meat Loaf tries to shout back, but he's getting strangled. Like, don't listen. Why would I do such a thing? And Buddy snaps back because she was cheating on you. And boom. Now we go
Why
into.
didn't I see this coming?
Yeah.
Why didn't I? That was shocking to me.
Well, then it worked for you.
It did.
See, that's the big. Like, everybody should know it's okay. It's probably Buddy the killer. That's pretty obvious. But this part is
Right.
where the kind of
The twist.
They get you. So we go into flashback of the very opening scene where the kids are in the mom's dressing room. Only this flashback has a little bit different feel to it from the opening. Like, we see things in a different kind of way. People's attitudes are slightly different. Like, not Meat Loaf doesn't come in all happy, like, oh yeah, Lawrence Gibbs here to see you. He's like, Lawrence Gibbs is here to see you, and like you can tell he's pissed off.
He's upset. Yeah.
He looks angry. He speaks differently.
It's almost like you see the adult perspective versus the
Kid,
child.
that's exactly what I was gonna
Yeah,
say. Like
yeah.
the kids, because they don't think anything's wrong. Everything's happy and great.
Right.
And now we see it from like an adult perspective. Like,
It's
oh
dark.
shit,
Yeah.
something's going on. Because Minnie, god damn it, Minnie, she's also, you can tell she's visually like nervous when she hears him say Lawrence Gibbs is here,
Gibbs, yeah.
and that he's in love with her, and she's
I
like,
just talked
and
to
she's
him.
like, how do you know that? And she's trying to like, force a smile for the kid, and so trying to not let the kids know that something's wrong. Minnie gives Meat a kiss on the cheek and says, "Congratulations, Mr. Producer." And then the camera zooms in on young Buddy's eyes. And we go back to the present now. And Meat Loaf's still trying to deny it. Buddy's looking at Cam and says, you went on the stage, but I saw what he did.
I saw what he did.
And right back into the flashback we go.
Oh, my God.
And we go to the point where the man in the opera ghost costume is standing behind Minnie, and he's like essentially rubbing her body. And we're showing young Buddy like hiding in a closet or something.
He was in a closet. Yeah, he was watching the whole thing.
So Minnie says like, Larry, we can't, which that wasn't in the first. We didn't hear that part.
We didn't see that part.
He was just here. He's going to catch us. Again, none of this was heard in the opening version. And the man in the mask whispers in her ear, I already caught you.
I already caught you.
And then we get a flash of Minnie's death scene. Just a real quick, like her getting stabbed, that's it. And we see Meat Loaf take off the ghost costume.
Off the mask.
And then he locks eyes.
So you see his face in the mirror.
In the mirror.
That was just smashed.
Yeah. And he looks over and sees young Buddies watching the whole thing.
Oh my God.
And
such an evil bastard.
Oh, yeah,
oh.
And we go back to the present. Cam drops the knife saying, how could you never tell me this whole time? And he's like, tells her that he was scared.
Right.
Resuming the flashback, Meat Loaf tells young Buddy that he shouldn't be here. I told you not to come in here. Buddy's about to scream, but Meat Loaf covers his mouth, and Meat tells Buddy that his mother had an accident because you didn't listen. And he goes to say, it's okay, I'll take care of it, I'll clean it all up. And this is also what he told Buddy earlier when he spilled the tomato sauce. It's okay, I'll clean this up. I'll clean it up.
So he's been fucking with Buddy mentally for about 10 years now. Yeah.
And Meat Loaf starts shushing young Buddy like, shh, shh.
Again.
And then he just slaps the kid across the face.
Shit out of this
and it's
kid.
like, behave, and then just slaps him again.
I'm telling you what, Meat Loaf freaked me the F out in this movie at different times. Like, during this scene, there were another couple scenes where he said a few things and it was like chilling. But this, I don't know. I can't watch children get damaged now that I have kids. But when he smacked that boy, I was like, and he looked at him and he's like, behave. I was like, oh my good God. Meat Loaf.
So we go back to present day, and Buddy says that he was scared of Meat Loaf this whole time.
Yeah.
But then he comes in and announces the revival of the show, which kind of triggers. And then he turns to Cam saying, "And you wanted to dress up and be just like Mommy, didn't you? Well, me too. And I even got myself a costume." Of course, the opera ghost. He pulls out another one of his custom blades while Meat Loaf is like working on getting out of his binds, the rope ties.
Yeah.
And Buddy goes on to say that's when I realized it was my fault. Right, Raj? I'm always making a mess. Well, guess what, Raj? I made a mess. And I made a big mess tonight just for you. And again, that's a callback because when he spills the tomato sauce, he's like, who made this mess?
Who made this mess?
Yeah. You know, so again, it's all coming back together. And Buddy then gives like this crazy evil laugh and lunges at Meat Loaf. And he's about to slice him with that custom circular blade. But Meat Loaf leaps up and they start fighting. Now, during this fight, Cam's knocked over. The
Mm-hmm.
blade's knocked out of Buddy's hand, and they continue to fight. Later in the fight, Cam's like coming up behind him because Buddy's picked up a frying pan, and he wheels back to hit Meat Loaf, but he actually hits Cam with it, sending her knocking down to the
She
floor. She
goes
kind of blacks out for a
down.
little bit.
Yeah, she
goes down
goes down.
hard. Buddy turns his attention to her, like, "Oh shit, I didn't." Obviously feeling
Right.
remorse, didn't mean to do that. Allowing Meat Loaf to grab a knife. He comes up behind Buddy, stabs
Yeah.
Buddy in the back.
All right, so this I felt was kind of okay, when this happened, I was like, man, after all of that, after the song, the choking, the explanation, then the fighting and the frying pan,
Yeah.
like he just walked up to him and is like bloop,
Bloop.
like right in the back. I was like,
But in
weak.
the same way, that's so
Right?
funny for that character.
Right.
Backstabbing someone.
So
which is the same way he killed the mother. Stabbed her in the
Exactly.
back.
Well,
Well, it wasn't going to stab her in the back. His
he
back was
stabbed her in
in the
the
throat.
throat.
But came up behind her and
Crazy.
did it.
But anyway, so at first I was like, oh, this is weak, and then
And then it gets better. So Buddy drops to the floor, and he's not done yet. He pounces on Buddy and
Oh
just starts stabbing
my
the shit out of
God.
him. It's just like going like just crazy on this guy, on Buddy's chest
well,
with the knife.
and while that's happening, they've now started to play Blue Danube on stage. So you can hear the song Blue Danube. Da 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 da.
Da, da, da. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know the name. I don't know the name of that piece, but yeah.
And so, like, it's this lighthearted waltz, and then Meat Loaf is
Just
just stabbing the shit out of him
bloodlust, yeah.
viciously. Oh my
So yeah, and because David and the imposter goes,
I
they're
was like,
still dancing away.
damn!
Cam starts to come to. She wakes up to see Meat just viciously stabbing Buddy. She screams out
It is rough.
as David and the imposter they fall away out of the line of sight of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Meat stands up, slowly starts to approach Cam, saying, "I'll clean this up. It's
Man,
okay."
it's so creepy. This is really intense.
Yeah,
Like,
it gets really
the
intense.
comedy completely, as much as again that subtle comedy has been happening this whole time.
Yeah.
This is like
Serious shit.
this is serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was also very sad because now the rock opera part is gone.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah,
over.
The rock's gone.
Damn.
So Cam screams, runs out of the kitchen and into the mess hall.
Yeah.
And from there, she runs out into the woods, screaming for help. Meat Loaf gives
How
chase.
far away is the kitchen from the stage?
Yeah.
She seemed like she was running for.
Yeah, at first, like I thought it was all
long
one big building. I was
time.
like, why? Because she's supposed to be in the theater where everybody's getting killed, and then she walks, God knows how far away.
Which is why I think she knew that it was Buddy, because when she picked up the circular saw makeshift blade that
Yeah.
he makes, I think because I was like, how does she know they're all the way in the kitchen and that's so far away? Like maybe she looked at the blade and realized this was made out of tops of cans.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, if it wasn't like an actual like, you could have done the same thing with a saw blade and just
Yeah.
and cut your handholds in it. But then I was like, it is a kind of the same size, like like tomato sauce, like those giant.
Yeah, and
metal-
he kept carrying these big cans of like
And you could've
sauce and things.
cut those and like carry them around and cut your finger holes into them.
Exactly.
And that's the only thing I can. She's like she sees it and it's like maybe a lid can or
Right.
something like that. So anyway, yeah,
So
she's running through the woods.
Yeah.
We cut
far away.
Now we cut to Joel outside for some
Where
reason.
has
Why
Joel
is he?
been?
Because apparently all these people forgot that there's a play still going on. The light guy is now outside.
Well, that's the other thing. So, like, was Joel doing the lights? I mean, Joel was warning her that there was a killer in the theater. She obviously ducks off a stage and isn't seen again. Where did Joel? Where were you, Joel?
Yeah, like
what the hell was
somebody
going
had to be
on
doing
with
the lights
you?
for the show. Something's going on. And he's with a flashlight. And he's found a trail of blood that leads him to a dumpster. And he opens the lid and he finds like what looks like Sam's severed head amongst the
Yeah.
trash. But I think it says I want to make sense of it's Sam's head because he doesn't get decapitated, at least that
No,
we see.
he gets a scissors shoved through his back.
Yeah, so I don't know, but it looks like Sam's head.
It does. I don't
Unless
know who
it's
else would
Sam's
be dead.
body, and all we see is the head because everything else is covered in trash. But I don't know. It's weird. It's
Somebody
odd.
got dumped back there. It
Yeah.
was very hard to tell who. Joel has a bad reaction. to
Joel
this.
has a very bad reaction. And then he hears Cam screaming for help out in the woods.
Yeah.
And the camera cuts back to the theater. And at this point, with David and the imposter ghost off stage, the audience like, oh, okay, I guess they start getting up to
The
leave.
audience gets up because they're like, "What is happening?"
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
What is, okay.
Dave
The
removes
audience is so good.
the audience removes the ghost mask to reveal a bloody and bound bloody, bound and gagged Liz Silver.
Liz Silver.
Liz had her eyes basically covered up with duct tape as well, so she couldn't see.
She was just blindly running around in
bumping
this
into
costume.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like hands tied, taped up.
Isn't that a throwback to a horror movie too? I couldn't think of which one it was, but I feel like that happened where there was somebody who was gagged and tied up and
That could be any horror movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe it's just a general horror
General
theme.
David rolls Liz off of him and said, "You just had to be in the show, didn't you? Well, go ahead and sing then." And he just shoves her back onto the stage. He just shoves her back out to the wolves, and she starts very nervously singing the aria. But then David decides to do his best and to save the show, so he leaps back on stage and he starts singing, and this turns into the Liz versus David, like trying to one up each other as they're singing this song on the stage.
It's like the star and the prima donna gay guy, like both singing soprano.
Yeah.
I'm forever haunted. Like it's so good.
You're singing the same part, and they're trying to outdo each other. And she
looks like she got beat the hell up.
She's bloody, crying,
bleeding
makeup
out of her
running.
nose.
Yeah.
The audience, when she comes back out, the audience is all like, and like sits back down, like, oh, I guess it's not over. Like, the show must go on.
So Cam's running through the Woodstock Theater, and she goes in through the stage door in the back, and she's running for the stage, but she's cut off and caught by Meat Loaf,
of course,
who grabs her, covers her mouth, while repeatedly saying, "It's okay now. It's okay.
No, are you okay?
You
No,
okay now?
okay?
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Are you okay?
Cam nods yes.
No, I'm not fucking okay. You just stabbed my brother to the blue Danube. What the fuck? No. Yeah, sure, I'm okay.
The farthest thing from okay.
I'm okay, fine.
So anyway, she nods yes. He removes his hand from her mouth and lets her go. She quickly grabs a circular saw to defend herself with. Me tells her that he wouldn't do anything to hurt his star, and he starts closing the gap between them.
This was one of the times where he really was freaking me out.
Yeah, he gets real dark. He's really good in this part. He tries to take the saw from her, but she won't let go, and we see her fingers like kind of twitching right along up against the trigger.
You can tell she's hesitating because, again, this is like a person that raised her whole life. She's so confused as to what just happened.
Yeah, she's struggling a lot.
Yeah.
And we see that the saw is like right up against Meat Loaf's chest and stomach. And he says, "Why won't you give me that? You're just like your mother." And well, that's certainly the wrong thing to say because Cam's like,
trigger.
"Fuck you." She doesn't say that, but she's like, she pulls the trigger because that's her trigger word.
Yeah.
That's her trigger. But nothing happens. It turns out the saw is unplugged.
It's not plugged in.
And realizing that she just tried to kill him and failed, Meat laughs in her face.
God.
Like
so
creepy,
evil, like
laugh.
so in her face.
I can't even do it. Yeah.
And he had some bad breath. I could not. I mean, he.
Yeah. And that's when we see Joel suddenly behind them, and he plugs in the saw. Cam glances at Joel, then back at Meat Loaf, pulls the trigger, and the saw roars to life and digs hungrily into that delicious meatloaf.
It sliced right through it.
Blood sprays everywhere. It's across Cam's face. Meat Loaf falls to the floor. There's a quick shot of Liz and David still pushing each other back and forth while singing, trying to one-up each other.
Oh, my God.
Liz gets the upper hand and pushes David backstage.
I love the parallel, by the way, between what's going on stage, which is slightly comical, and what's going on backstage.
Which is the most horrendous,
Oh, my, which is graphic and...
Yeah, that juxtaposition
it's great. I love it.
And so, not happy about being pushed on stage, David calls her a bitch. But then he trips over the rope that's attached to the paint-filled bucket. So right as Liz hits that final high note, she gets doused with red paint.
Perfect.
Just like Carrie. She's standing there. We cut back to Meat Loaf screaming, twitching on the floor as the saw continues to feast on his stomach and his intestines.
Oh.
Well, Cam just watches wide-eyed in terror and horror and shock.
Good acting.
Yeah,
I mean,
great.
her reaction
Her facial expressions are amazing in this movie.
God.
She's so good.
She is,
Like, I'm surprised she's hasn't been like more things lately.
I am too. She was really great at what she did.
So in stunned shock,
she could have done 50 Shades of Grey.
And traumatized, Cam stumbles backwards, and she ends up out on stage. She bumps into Liz, who's also in shock because she's like covered in pain, like freaking out. And she collapses into Cam's arms, and the two of them fall to the floor and end up in the final pose of the
final
play,
position of
where
the
Sophia
show.
holds the dead body of Alfonso. So it all comes back together. The audience is in stunned silence.
Yeah.
Cam still looks like she's, looks out into the crowd as a creepy caretaker begins his slow clap.
Slow clap.
And one by one, the audience joins in until it reaches the fever pitch.
What the?
Just they're going crazy. The
He's
camera,
like, you did it. I knew the whole time. What?
the camera zooms in on Cam's bloody face, so wide-eyed, the shock, terror, just great facial acting.
Really good.
The screen goes white and then black as we hear the sounds of cameras clicking, and we're taken to the red carpet of the opening night of the Broadway revival of The Haunting of the Opera. The red carpet reporter is doing his thing, and we learn that it's been 1 year now since the center stage camp massacre. A cameraman moves out of the way, and we see that the reporter is interviewing Victor Brady.
Of course.
And Brady talks about Camilla and moving forward, and that if she or they didn't do this show, somebody else would.
Will. You have to do it's like she's talking. Basically, he's playing her like any other producer would have.
It's basically he's taking over the Meat Loaf role now.
Yeah.
As Meat Loaf was the mini driver, he's now to her. And we cut to Camilla in her dressing room with a fresh new haircut. She's standing in front of her dressing room mirror.
She looks very glam.
Very glam. Yeah, she's got like this wavy hair, very like old. I want to say like old, like 40s, 50s star.
Yeah,
glam.
she has very exactly.
In comes Brady to tell her the New York Times is showing up again, just like so. Basically, this is the whole opening scene over again.
Yep.
Brady gives her some words of encouragement, then leaves. Again, Cam pulls out the picture of her mother.
Her mom.
As one of the lights in the mirror begins to flicker, she reaches out to fix it, but stops. And then she just reaches over to the light switch, turns off all the lights, tightens the bulb back in, and then when she reaches back for the light switch, she hesitates for a moment. Like she's like, she's like, huh. And you can almost tell like there's some fear there, like she's hesitant. And she flips the lights back on, turns around, like expecting to see someone behind her, but there's nobody there. And seeing that there's no one there, she sighs in relief, turns back to the mirror, and that's when crashing through the mirror, lunging at her, is the metal killer. Who grabs her around the throat. She screams, she struggles, and then a really fast, hard cut to Cam standing in front of the mirror, hands to her throat. She's trying to catch her breath.
Hallucination.
And then from off camera, we hear David yelling, "Places!" Blackout. Roll credits.
Oh man!
Now these credits are awesome. There's not like a whole lot of visual.
Credits.
There's not visual, but during the credits, we are treated to the Metal Killers metal medley. That's
baby.
A lot of M's. Metal medley of all the songs from the movie, and it ends with a thank you song to the audience for watching the movie.
Thank you for watching the credits
for the Metal Killer.
Thank you for still being here. like thank you for getting to the end. Like it's like yes, so good.
It's great. So that's the movie.
Who wrote the score to this? Did the director?
Let me say.
Right?
The Jerome Sable and Eli Battalion or Bear, but they wrote the music and the script as well. So they did it all.
They did a great job.
Yeah, they did. Like they really nailed it.
That's really good.
So let's move on now to favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
All right, so not a whole lot of kills in this one, but there were some. They were pretty brutal and what we did see. So, of all the kills, Sarah, what was your favorite for this movie?
All right, so normally I build up to this, but I'm just going to come out. So it was Kylie Swanson who was Minnie Driver.
Yes.
When I first saw it, I mean, again, it was the first kill, and not another kill happened for a very long time. It was graphic, and I mean, I expected her to die.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the trailer, you kind of expect, I don't know, I kind of expected her to die, especially since the way they set up the beginning of the movie. But I did not imagine that they would close up show her getting stabbed right in the throat. I mean, like, it was right at the throat.
Yeah, and
Which
it's
again, as a vocalist, that is a huge nightmare to be like. You can't come back from that vocal damage.
No,
Like
there's
that,
no
you're not coming
from
back
that.
from that. Your career is over, if anything. But he just like it wasn't just the one stab. It was the continual stabbing. It was like you said the contrast of the blood on the white. She was wearing white on the white mask on the white flowers.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so good. And then he sticks the knife in her mouth and bounces her head off the mirror. What? I mean, so it started so dark and so it was such a great, and I was like, this is my favorite kill. But then in the end, when you find out that it's Meat Loaf and you re-watch the kill happen, not as graphically, but in Meat Loaf, in that whole
In that different perspective.
Oh
yeah.
my! It sealed the deal for me. That is my favorite kill. It was brutal all the way around it, and then finding out the true story behind it just made it so much better. And oh god,
I love the passion you're bringing to
Oh
this.
man,
This is great.
It was serious.
It's
Nice to watch a. I'm sorry. I know
Well,
this is horrible horror, but it's kind of nice to watch a movie I kind of enjoyed.
I really that's all. I love hearing that passion you that. But I'm actually had a really hard time with this because
Yeah.
I mean there are people in this like already needed to die. He was just a scummy bag. Like watching him die was great. The light bulb
That was very
shattered, it was a good
satisfying.
one. And then again, Meat Loaf's death, the saw to the stomach and the intestines going, and he deserved once all that.
so
He deserved it so badly.
So bad.
But then the contrast between when Buddy is getting brutally stabbed and like the waltz playing, it's almost like it's so crazy and weird. Which makes it even almost scary. Like when you something light fight, and then when you relate to something dark and visceral like that, it's like makes it almost even worse.
Oh, exactly.
So like I'm really at like a loss for like what my favorite kill is for this
no.
week, which doesn't
What
really
a good problem to have.
yeah, I guess. But yeah, Mimi Driver, Mini. I'm never gonna get that right.
It's all right.
Which,
by the way, bit of trivia. Did you know that Minnie Driver was actually in the...
I was going to get the...
Oh, okay, never mind. We'll hit it later.
We'll hit that later.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited.
I know where you're going with that, though. I'll let you relate. I'll just go with... I'll go Meat Loaf.
Man.
They're all good. They're just 3 or 4 really good ones. I'll go Meat just because when that big reveal comes, like he deserves it so much.
So
and it's like
evil
Cam
through the
gets that
whole
sweet
thing.
revenge, and then the way she reacts, that whole scene. So fuck it, I'll go Meat Loaf as my favorite kill for this week.
That was graphic. I mean, really, too, how graphic it was with his stomach.
Yeah. And at the aftershot, you see the intestines and stuff like
yeah.
lying around. It's brutal. All right, let's move on to odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
All right, ratings. IMDb gives it a 5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 35% on the thermometer with a 27% audience score. And Amazon gives it a 3.6 out of 5. Again, honestly, for us, probably a little low, but I get why.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that coming up.
Yeah.
Plot keywords. There were 20 plot keywords, but I'm not gonna go through them because there's really nothing special or funny. There's not fun. They're just all like blood, kill, stab. There's nothing really outlandish or fun.
Metal? Anybody? Metal?
No.
No. Rock? Guitar?
No.
Knife?
No. Well, I think knife or something like that. So
Musical? Rodgers and Hammerstein.
yeah.
Damn it!
Now-
Andrew Lloyd Webber. No.
Now we tried maybe didn't do a great job of letting you know about all the references, but there are like the things referenced in the movie are like I said, Hellraiser,
Yeah.
Carrie. Some people are making an argument that the Halloween just because of the large kitchen knife, but I call bullshit because those large kitchen knives are used in everything.
Yeah.
And then somebody else tried saying that Friday the 13th is referenced, and I'll maybe give them that just because the camp does take place at kind of like a wooded on the lake camp, but even that's a big stretch.
That's a stretch because
So-
they don't really show much that has
there's
to do
one
with the
scene
camp.
of them sitting
Not
on the
really.
dock
Yeah.
on the lake. Other than that, that's a stretch. It's really like the big ones are Hellraiser
Yeah.
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then the
Really?
musical references. So,
Which there are so many musical references.
speaking of we're just talking about Halloween. Director Jerome Sable and co-writer Eli Battalion has said that they used the same title font and the same shade of red from Assault on Precinct 13, 1976,
Oh, wow.
for the title of Stage Fright to pay homage to their favorite director, Halloween's John Carpenter.
Oh, see, I feel like these guys are really like that's why this was enjoyable because they are niche guys and they really enjoy
Yeah, they
this
get
genre.
It.
They get it. Yeah,
Now here's what
the details.
Here's what I think you were about to lead into.
Yeah.
Minnie Driver played Carlotta in the film version of Family Opera, the most recent one, and her character in Stage Fright, Kai Swanson, plays the lead in the Haunting of the Opera, and both those characters are the leading lady, but then misfortune strikes both of them. So there's a relationship. Now Carlotta's not killed, but she is. Misfortune strikes her and forces her out of the lead role.
Forces her away from the low.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the Phantom.
Because
I mean, the Phantom does it to her essentially. So
there is definitely correlation, interesting little correlation.
and she's a
there.
classical singer. She's a classically trained singer.
She did all of her singing in Family Opera, and the people did their own singing in this movie too. It's so really, which makes it even more impressive. So with that,
because Meat Loaf is.
Well, obviously Meat Loaf.
Yeah, Meat Loaf is. Yeah, but Meat Loaf is. I was doing some reading on Meat Loaf, and he is not. His health has not been very good in the last few years. Like he keeps trying to perform, and he's not.
It's not up.
It's not going very well for him. It's just very sad.
That is sad.
Poor Meat Loaf.
But let's move on to the budget game.
Oh.
It's now time to play everyone's favorite game. Guess the budget.
Now, it's going to be a little different because I don't have the actual budget.
Oh.
But, so, Sarah, you're going to play Guess the Gross.
Oh, okay.
And we have two numbers.
Oh, no, this is hard.
We have two numbers to
This is
guess.
harder.
We have the opening weekend gross, what it made opening weekend, and then what its total gross was at the end of its theater run. Now, I will give you a little hint. Its theater run was very short, and I think it was only 11 theaters, and its final gross was... Opening weekend was May 9th of 2014, and its closing weekend was May 30th. So basically a month. So it kind of helps maybe give you a window to work with here. So what do you think was the opening weekend gross?
And it was only shown in how many theaters?
I think
just
11.
like a handful.
I think it like 11.
Now I did read that this was shown originally. It was opened originally at South by Southwest.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
As one of their midnighters. But that doesn't mean anything as far as like it making any money. Damn, this is hard. This is harder than the budget game because I feel like the budget is really high on this movie. Yet I don't see it making as much money as the budget was, but I don't know how that works out in movie world. So
I think,
I'm gonna oh God, like probably not that much, honestly. A horror musical.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the only two people that are gonna like this is me and you. That's why we're doing it. My husband was like, "No." No.
I
I'm
would have
gonna
loved to
say,
see Chris.
oh my,
his reactions
he'd
were
be
this.
angry right
I
now.
know
It's
he would be.
okay. He'd be like, "What the hell?"
I kind of wish you could have been here so we had somebody an outside perspective, like who
doesn't like theater and musicals
because
he doesn't. Yeah. What? I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna say $15,000 was the highest gross it made for the whole
thing.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to guess that as opening weekend numbers?
Opening weekend, I'm gonna say was like most of that, like 8,000.
8,000 opening weekend, 15,000. Well, as I would tell Aaron, you blew your wad.
Damn. Well, that does not.
But this is hard. This was a big challenge. Opening weekend, it made $3,562.
Are you serious? I said 8,000.
Total gross as of May 30th, 2014, $7,078.
Oh my God. So who put up the money for this movie? Because there is no way that it was.
It made money.
I mean, I feel like this was $1
million
million
straight to DVD and make its money in rentals,
like
and
rentals
streaming.
and things.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, I'm sure it's easily
I'm
$1 million movie.
I'm just trying to think about like, you know.
Plus, I mean, Minnie Driver, she has some credit to her name. She wasn't in much, but to get her to do it. Meat Loaf is a name to get him to do it.
Meat Loaf, they've both been. I mean, they're not like you said, like haven't had a ton of exposure at this point, but they've both been in movies, and she's done so much theater and other things. they couldn't have been cheap. I mean,
or they could just, maybe they did it as a passion project. This just sounds like a fun thing to do.
right? Maybe they just
But who knows? But that's it.
Wow.
7,000 total gross.
All right.
According to boxofficemojo.com.
Hey, Mojo, they should have made more.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to 5-star reviews.
Is this your guilty pleasure? 5-star reviews.
Now, again, not a whole lot, but from Just Loverly, this movie was ridiculous. I love it. The music was okay, but there were a couple of songs I really enjoyed. The sheer ridiculousness was my favorite part, though. I show this movie to everyone who will watch it. 5 stars.
Nice.
And from Neeby, so much better than I expected. Melanie Lishman delivers an amazing performance. Can't wait to see her in more movies. 5 stars. Now, for those of you wondering, Melanie Lishman is the redhead who played Liz Silver.
Oh, okay.
From Matthew A.
That seems weird, but
Leachman.
okay.
I thought it was weird, too.
I know, right?
I really thought this was going to be a remake of the 1987 slasher of the same name. Could it be? Similar in so many ways, but pretty over the top. Very enjoyable musical slasher. Gore fest. 5 stars. Now, actually, before I read this last one, I actually want to do the 80s version down the road.
That'd
That's
be
why I like
cool.
to come back for that one.
Yeah, I'm down.
But I will say, I don't think it's a remake. It's not that similar.
No, it's
they
not.
Share,
I
share
was
a
doing
name.
some reading because there's also a 1950s
50s
version.
Yes, there is.
Of this, which
I haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't seen that either, but that sounds more of like a psychological thriller.
Yeah, I think so,
That
too.
was a Hitchcock movie.
Ah,
It's a Hitchcock movie.
cool.
So
And then finally from Anonymous, this tongue-in-cheek slasher musical is brilliant, great cast, amusing songs, and the serial killer is riveting. Plus, it is Meat Loaf. What more could you ask for? 5 stars.
I agree with you,
Now,
sir. I
just
agree.
the balance. I didn't write any of the 1 stars down, but there were a lot of 1-star reviews. And I get it because people probably went into this not realizing what it was.
No.
And so almost all the 1-star reviews are like, what the hell was this? Musical? I hate musicals. This sucks. What? Blah, blah, blah. It's all ripping on the musical aspect of it. Like I said, it's not for everyone. You have to
No.
be in a niche to get it, to really appreciate it is for what it is.
Well, and that's why I'm glad that we did it as a horrible horror, because even though somebody like me thinks, well, this is not anywhere near that bad, because I can go into that in my final thoughts or whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Well, we're going to that right now.
Okay, so
'Cause-
I can totally get why we did this as a horrible horror, because, again, for somebody like me, like I was just saying, this is a great movie. I mean, it was graphic. The kills balanced pretty well with the music, I thought. There were times where the music went on for a long time, and I was like, where is the horror going to be? But once the horror really started, it kept going, and they did a really great job with it. I felt like there was some times where dialogue and story kind of went on too, but it all tied together really well. They did good in the details, but if you don't like singing in movies, then this is a horrible horror for you, because it wasn't like sing, kill. It was like graphic kill, a lot of singing and some tongue in cheek, and then some killing and more singing and more singing with the killing. And so I could see where, it could be a total horrible horror for somebody, but I think obviously it was so bad it's good, because I mean, come on now. This is, again, I totally related to most of the characters.
You can relate.
Being a theater geek and a singer and
for me, a lot of the same things. Like it would have been nice if we could have got a third person who wasn't from the outside world looking in, and just see if they would appreciate got it for what it is, even if the people who didn't come from theater and all that. But I'm the same way. Like I loved it. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I love the references and the nods it made to all the other horror movies and the musicals, and how it brings everything together. It goes from serious to funny. But even like you just said, like it starts off the kill, and then it's long stretch, like not a lot happening, and then it ends on a high note. But also, that's in a way it could be another genius nod to the older, like the original Halloween was just like that. You had the opening thing, Myers kills his sister, and then the whole rest of the movie, I would take the last 20 minutes, it's just story building and character development, and then it gets to the scary killing stuff at the end. So it's very much like that. And a lot of other horror, I mean, some of the early 80s slashers were very much like that as well. So, unfortunately, we've gone way over time this week.
Oh, Lordy, I don't even know.
But I would say
sorry,
So Bad
guys.
It's Good as well.
So Bad It's Good.
I know a lot of you if you're even still listening at this point, good on you. I know a
hope
lot of
you're
you won't
listening.
understand this show. I would say watch it, even if you just give it a whirl. The songs are catchy, definitely worth a watch.
I think the kills are going to pay off for you.
The kills are pretty good. Like I said, there's not a lot of blood and gore, but what they do, they do pretty good. The effects are good. They didn't waste your time with bad effects or makeup. It's solid. Like I said, I got to wrap up because we're running way long.
Sorry, guys. We loved it too much.
Yeah, we just kept talking.
Just loved it too
I know,
much.
and I didn't even have a whole lot of bad jokes. I can't rip this. It's not bad.
That's what I thought
can't
too.
Rip this.
I couldn't even really. I mean, the things that I laughed at, I think they wanted me to laugh at.
Yeah. I can't.
It was disappointing in the way that we
I
couldn't
got
make fun of it. Really,
of my notes. I'm I don't have a whole lot of jokes or anything bad to say. This is just.
It was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
So check us out on Facebook. Check out our website horriblehorrorpodcast.com. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter, we're So Bad Scary. Instagram, we're just Horrible Horror Podcast. You can download and listen to all of our episodes on our website, on iTunes and Google Play, and along at Podbean as well. All 100% free. Check us out. If you can, review us, give us 5 stars, leave us some notes. We love some interaction with our listeners. But in the meantime, watch more horror movies, and for always remember, keep it tight.
See ya.
Yeah!